are going to be receiving funding through our new process, and this is a great opportunity for our community residents to have the opportunity to be able to hear from the agencies that are doing great work in our community, and have the opportunity to share the work that they're going to be doing. Some of them are already doing some of this work, but that they're going to be doing in our community, and that our community will have an understanding of their work and be able to utilize their services. So I am so happy that you are here today. And so with that, I will start with just a few more additional comments, and then Ms. Hannah Jones is going to share some comments. So in Columbus, we know that we have a high quality of life, and it is marked with a lot of innovation and collaboration. However, even the greatest cities have challenges, and we need to make sure that our residents have the resources and services that they need to better their lives. We are all well positioned to address many of the needs of our residents because we have strong infrastructure of government, nonprofit, and private sector resources and organizations that are dedicated to offering services that are vital to our community. This afternoon, we will hear from the city-funded social service agencies who are doing important work in our community to help people who are in need. Nearly all the recipients of the city contracts for social services will testify at today's hearing. And the only ones that will not be testifying are the few that testify during the hearing, but everybody else is testifying. And other than that, there may be some additional social service agencies that may get funded outside of this process that will also, at the appropriate time, share their services. After our guests have testified, we will entertain testimony from any members of the public who have submitted speaker slips for this hearing. Before beginning this testimony, I would like to provide Hannah Jones, the interim deputy director of community development of the development department, with an opportunity to speak about the contract process and what agencies can expect moving forward. Ms. Jones, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair Tyson, and thank you again for your leadership and role in this process as we have developed it. Just recently, in February of 2015, the budget was passed by City Council, which allowed the department to allocate the 2015 funding that was provided. On March 23rd, the legislation authorizing the department to enter into contract with the grantees was submitted and approved by City Council. Over the next week, what we will be doing is reaching out to all of the grantees to go over and get an updated scope of services, budget, and performance measures that relate to their award amounts. And from those, we will then be able to build out their contracts, which we will circulate to them for signature and begin the process. We have spoken with all of the grantees regarding the start dates for their contracts. So if they traditionally ran on a January 31st to February calendar, they have had the ability to do so in this process as well. And if they would like to investigate a calendar that works better with their fiscal year, we'll negotiate that in the contract process. As you know, we did have our contract manager retire earlier this year, and we are in the process of finalizing his replacement. And so this person, we will be sure to onboard and familiarize them with this process as well as all the organizations, and he will work closely with those groups to ensure that we are meeting the goals that you've set forth. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. And so we're going to begin, and I'm going to just say the names of a number of the organizations or who's representing the organizations so you can be in line to come up and start to testify. And again, I think that my office has shared with you the information that we want you to discuss with our residents this afternoon. So the first person is going to be Lori Gum, who will be on behalf of Stonewall, and Carla, I know, is going to be accompanying her. After Lori will be Dr. Ashfall from ETSS. And after that will be Ms. Noon, or Jamie Noon from Columbus Speech and Hearing. And then after that will be Carrie Weirick from the NetCare Director of Community and Residential Services. Hopefully you'll begin to see your names on the screen, but I think we're having a few technical difficulties right now, but that's why I'm just making sure that everyone knows who's coming up. All right, with that, Ms. Gum, the floor is yours. Excuse me one second, I'm sorry.
mic on up at the podium, on Ginther's desk?
Okay, thank you. This might slide here a little bit. Okay. I think it's okay. We'll keep it there. Okay. Should I begin? Okay.
All over, go ahead.
Thank you. For 34 years, Stonewall Columbus has served as the only LGBTQ community center in Central Ohio. One of the most important programs offered at Stonewall is information and referral services. Our goal over the last 3 years has not only been to provide robust referrals, but to provide much of that assistance internally through critical professional services, support, and social groups the Stonewall itself develops and implements. This will ensure quality, accountability, LGBTQ cultural competency, and above all, safety and discretion. At Stonewall Columbus, we keep this in mind on a daily basis. The people walking through our doors may be there as a first stop or a friendly return visit, or sometimes as a last resort. We function on presuming the latter. Stonewall receives hundreds of calls a week from individuals needing grief counseling, coming out support, loss counseling, veteran support, transgender community support, and senior services, just to name a few. Many of our callers are in crisis, and some are even contemplating suicide. Stonewall finds a place for them with our 2 full-time on-site counselors and collaborating mental health organizations. We offer them free, safe, and professional support, and most of all, we offer them community. It is critical that we continue to receive funding to ensure that our intake and referral personnel via our hotline and front desk operators be trained staff members opposed to volunteers on which we used to depend. The stakes are too high to allow this service to be conducted by anyone less than a highly qualified, consistent, and informed staff member. The ability to ascertain need and instill trust and comfort to those made during a first contact is vital to our success to serve our community. In 2013 alone, we received 30,000 requests for information, and more than 149,000 people were directly served. Stonewall's intake and referrals also instrumental to the distribution of critical information to our community on important issues such as wellness and health care. For 2 years, Stonewall has been certified as an Affordable Care Act counselor organization and assisted many of our community members, particularly our transgender population, in acquiring quality, affordable health insurance and also partake of expanded Medicaid benefits. Our community and referral partners include Adam H., North Central Mental Health, Columbus Health Department, AIDS Resource, the Vet Center, OSU James, OSU Multicultural Center, COWIC, and many more. Our financial partners include Walgreens, Walmart, UPS, the Legacy Fund, COAAA, the many members and donors to Stonewall, and corporate sponsors of Stonewall Columbus Pride. Stonewall serves as a literal safe haven for many of our Columbus citizens. We ask you to continue to help us honor their trust and provide the very best service to them we can. You can find more out about Stonewall at www.stonewallcolumbus.org or call our front desk line at 614-299-7764. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gum. And so you have 2
Yes.
grants. And so the first one is for, again, the Stonewall intake and referral for the GLBT community.
Correct.
And then the other one is LGBT veteran support.
You got it.
Thank you.
Shall I begin that?
Yes.
Okay. Since the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell in 2011, lesbian, gay, and bisexual military service members have finally been allowed to serve openly without fear of dishonorable discharge. Yet, many of our LGBT veterans still live with the emotional, social, and psychological scars of having served in the military previous to this repeal. The legacy and memory of intolerance, silence, shame, and humiliation still remains. Consequently, many of our LGBT veterans have felt stranded between 2 worlds, certainly not welcome in services administered by the VA, and many of them have not engaged in the LGBT community at large, having already once experienced great personal loss from their identification as being gay. As a result, many veterans find themselves isolated without peer support of either community. Not only has this resulted in self-segregation from vital emotional connection, but has also caused many of them to defer even the medical, psychological, and financial support that the VA offers its citizens. In March of 2014, in collaboration with the Vet Center in the Short North, we began an LGBT veteran support group that meets biweekly at our community center. The Vet Center provides a qualified licensed veteran counselor that facilitates our groups. With the Vet Center military experience, expertise, and Stonewall's connection to the LGBT community, we believe we can offer this partnership as a bridge for the LGBT veterans to return to critical emotional and social engagement on their own terms and find their identity once again honored, recognized, and supported by both their country and their community. In the last year, we have also created a fantastic working relationship with the new Columbus Veterans Administration LGBT liaison and have direct input now and access to VA resources and personnel. And even for those veterans who served after DADT, many prefer support groups where they do not have to explain themselves, where they can openly discuss their same-sex marriages, partnerships, families, and sexual orientation without having to fear being judged. Our veteran support group offers them this safe space. Furthermore, we also work with veterans who may have been previously dishonorably discharged because of being gay. Stonewall provides qualified caseworkers who help veterans maneuver through the VA review process to overturn less than honorable discharges. Both the Columbus VA and Senator Sherrod Brown's Constituent Services Liaison are providing robust collaboration with us on this endeavor. And in addition to the support group, we are very proud our program annually designates November as LGBT Veterans Awareness Month. This entails a full program of community outreach and promotion to recognize our veterans' service. In November of 2014, we were proud to honor 4 of our distinguished LGBT veterans with an appreciation ceremony and a reception attended by nearly 100 people. Our LGBT veterans have served us so honorably. We must continue to do the same for them. Thank you.
Thank you for coming down and sharing these services and the phone number so people can reach you to be able to utilize these services.
Yes, and for Veterans Group, the same at stonewallcolumbus.org.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Ashfall, so we can keep moving it along. If after Dr. Ashfall, the next person can be just getting lined up and positioned to come up. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Councilmember Tyson, Chairman of the Human Services, and member of staff, council staff, and nice meeting you, Deputy Director. We as the Ethiopian Tewahedo Social Services, ETSS, are overjoyed and so happy to accept the 2015-18 Competitive Human Services Program for Employment Services. On behalf of the Board of Directors, staff, and the new Americans Community Impact Collaborative, we want to thank you for the support you have given to our organization to close current gaps for employment services for new Americans and low-income individuals in the city of Columbus. Our employment services provide educational and supportive services to reduce major barriers for refugees faced in finding and retaining employment services with overarching goals for self-sufficiency and social adjustment. These services include, number 1, workforce English, number 2, job readiness training, and job placement and supportive services, and also referral services. These services will geographically help the west side, the north, the northeast, and east side of Columbus. And also, when we say that the impact of this program is really to help those who have been not funded by federal or other state or city money. These are refugees who have been here for more than 5 years, or refugees who are coming, or immigrants who are coming as U.S. diversity lottery visas, secondary migration through marriage programs, and there are a lot of ways that immigrants are coming who are not really supported by different programs, and this is really have a big impact for our agencies as serving, because it was a gap for the last 5-6 years, because these people, they have to find or they have struggled to find jobs. So really, it's really closed those gaps in our employment service. So we really thank you so much for that. We are not doing this alone. Financially, we are currently supported by the county commissioners, the Board of Commissioners, through Franklin County Job and Family Services, Ohio Workforce Program through ResCare, COIC through our Career Pathway programs, and then local banks like PNC and Fifth Third Bank who are helping us in financial literacy training and others. We do services with the new American Community Impact Collaborative. I know Councilmember Tyson, you have met them. There are over 18 refugee immigrant-based organizations which we are working with ETSS now, considering as their umbrella organizations. And also, now that number is increased up to 21. And today, we have our monthly meeting at 5 p.m. That's what I was requesting to speak first, so that, if you have time, you can come in and say, well, we are going to congratulate these opportunities that we are getting today and how we are going to implement. And also we have the summer youth employment programs, so we are going to share. Because what we did is, we come together, apply grants, and then implement. At the end of the day, the beneficiaries are the community. So we are working with common goals, common agendas for a community-wide impact. That's what we are really working together, and that model is working, and thank you, the staff, really for helping and supporting us on this initiative and really encouraging us for this kind of models that we are providing. We have a lot of partners also in referring our clients, COWIC, Columbus State Community College, the COTAS, Columbus City Schools Adult Service Program, which they are helping us on the professional and skill-specific training aspect. Our resettlement agencies, my friend Angie is here now. So we work together day to day, and a lot of agencies that, our friends, a nonprofit agency, his day to day, we are helping our poor and low-income individuals to become self-sufficient and be responsible citizens. Tawahedo in our name means come to unity, or to become one in the ancient African Ethiopian languages. This is our philosophy. As we work with our many partners to strengthen and support new American families in as many aspects of their lives as we can. We hope that you will continue to support and work with us as we help these often overlooked populations achieve self-sufficiency. Thank you again for your support, and we look forward to work with you all. Thank you so much. And you can refer our contact person, Dr. Leroy, he's here. Our phone number is 614-252-5362. You can communicate with him, and hopefully that will have a successful year. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming down this afternoon, and I think your grant amount is $276,600.
Yes, thank you so much.
And you're so welcome, and thank you. Yes. As you will hear, that each of these organizations will be sharing their specific need that they're meeting, as well as how their dollars are being leveraged and who they're partnering with in the community. And so thank you for coming down and sharing, and I'm hoping more people will come and utilize your services.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jamie Noon from Columbus Speech and Hearing. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Fine.
For more than 90 years, Columbus Speech and Hearing Center has served tens of thousands of individuals in and around Columbus, Ohio. The mission of Columbus Speech and Hearing Center is to improve communication and vocational independence for life. The Comprehensive Program for the Deaf, or CPD, has served more than 3,500 individuals since its inception in 1971. Last year, CPD served 255 individuals. Although we serve a total of 8 Central Ohio counties, including Franklin, more than 77% of those served last year were referred by the Columbus Metro Office of the Bureau of Vocational Rehabilitation. Excuse me. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the unemployment rate for individuals with disabilities was 13.2% in 2013, almost twice as high as the rate for non-disabled individuals, which was 7.1%. CPD serves eligible individuals aged 16 to 64 with significant disabilities and other barriers to employment, including limited work histories or legal challenges. Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities, which is the state agency that helps people with disabilities find and keep jobs, authorizes the center, along with its other community rehabilitation partners, to provide a wide range of vocational services, including job development, career exploration, community-based assessment, and job retention. Of the 12,769 hours authorized to CPD in 2014, only 213 hours, or 2%, were for personal development or soft skills training. A service gap clearly exists. During the formative years, while many people are exploring their interests, developing their strengths, and honing their work skills, many others are learning to adjust to a new way of life, having been diagnosed with a disability and the many treatments and appointments it entails. Consequently, individuals with disabilities and other life challenges may have skills gaps not currently met through traditional vocational rehabilitation services due to this focus on assessment and job development. According to a recent survey conducted by Harris Poll on behalf of CareerBuilder, quote, an overwhelming majority of companies say soft skills are just as important as hard skills to on-the-job success and ultimately to career advancement. With the city funding, we will run a total of 8 10-week soft skills courses, including but not limited to modules on interest and skills identification, work values and self-esteem, goal setting and financial literacy, decision-making, interpersonal awareness, stereotyping and uniqueness, and needs, barriers, and strategies for success, among others, offering additional incentives for individuals who complete all 10 weeks of the course. While CPD also receives referrals from local developmental disability boards and from private pay sources, the majority of our referrals do come from opportunities for Ohioans with disabilities. Our employment specialists have more than 100 years of combined experience in vocational rehabilitation and are truly experts in the field. They're extremely knowledgeable about local resources and frequently make referrals to other agency partners when needed, including but not limited to Dress for Success, CODA, Job and Family Services, mental health providers, etc. A list of community resources is always provided in our intake packet and is always available should someone need or request the information. For more information regarding any of our programs, including our new soft skills course, please feel free to contact myself, Jamie Noon, the Director of CPD, at area code 614-261-5772, or by email at jnoon, N-O-O-N, at columbusspeech.org. Thank you.
Thank you for coming down and sharing the information regarding your comprehensive program for the deaf, and your grant amount is $30,149.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next will be Carrie Weirick from NetCare. Good afternoon.
Imagine the unthinkable. Someone very close to you has passed away suddenly and in violent circumstances. Your home is now a crime scene. The police and paramedics are there and you have questions. You cannot fathom what the next moments will be like, and you're alone. If you were in that situation, you would need an expert guide to help you navigate the worst day of your life. You would need NetCare's Community Crisis Response. This grant will expand NetCare's community crisis response, improving Columbus residents' access to skilled mental health clinicians on site immediately after tragedies such as child death, homicide, suicide, fatal car accident, or hostage situations, freeing up Columbus Police and Fire Departments to focus on their duties. Community Crisis Response, or CCR, is a community-based mobile crisis team that responds to Columbus Police requests for assistance with tragedies, providing mental health expertise and consultation to the police, and public. CCR clinicians, highly trained, experienced psychologists, social workers, and counselors, provide comfort, psychological first aid, mental health screenings, and make referrals. Intervening with bereaved family members is an emerging best practice in preventing suicide in family and friends of those who have died by suicide. CCR clinicians are on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They respond in person to the scene within 1 hour from the time that the request is made to NetCare. NetCare has been providing this high-quality service for 34 years. In addition to funding from other sources, NetCare's funding comes from Medicaid and the Franklin County Alcohol and Drug and Mental Health Board, which uses tax levy funds to support services for the uninsured and covers costs not paid by Medicaid. NetCare refers clients to community mental health agencies, support groups, hospitals, and treatment centers. NetCare partners with Columbus Police, Fire, area agencies, and hospitals to provide the safety net for crisis mental health services in Columbus. For more information, you're welcome to contact me, Carrie Wyrick, at 614-278-0057, or email me at cwirick@netcareaccess.org. And of course, you can always reach NetCare at 276-CARE.
Thank you for coming down and sharing. I mean, we certainly are in need of community crisis response, and I'm glad that these dollars will go to help to expand those resources.
Thank
Because you
you.
see in the paper every day on the news, there's so much going on in our community
Right.
that you stop and think about what are those families going through.
Right.
So it's really great to be able to have NetCare to be able to respond and try to help those families move through those crisis situations. And again, so the community crisis response expansion and the grants for $138,300. Thank you so much for what you do each and every day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is, hi, Joy Rees from the Columbus Literacy Council.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation to come and share again today regarding this particular funding source. Thank you. The Columbus Literacy Council began in 1970 with the Church Women United, and they organized and trained literacy volunteers to assist Asian and Greek immigrants. So from our very beginning, the Columbus Literacy Council was founded to reach out to the immigrant population to help them learn the basics of the English language. The intervening years have seen the council grow to serve over 3,000 adults and families annually, representing nearly 100 different ethnic groups. In particular, in the last decade, the Literacy Council expanded services to meet the growing demand of our Central Ohio community. This expansion includes classes for workforce development, citizenship preparation, family literacy, and basic computer courses, in addition to our regular English for speakers of other languages courses, pre-GED preparation, and training for our core of volunteers. In Central Ohio, Columbus Literacy Council continues to be recognized as the provider to serve individuals and families that have very limited or no resources to purchase literacy skills, and for those that have a literacy skill set that is below acceptable levels for other community-based organizations. The council fills this gap in services by providing them to the no and low literacy populations and helping them gain a basic literacy skill set that allows them to continue in programs that are offered through our community partners and other organizations. In particular, the City of Columbus has funded the FIT program this year. The premise for our FIT program, FIT stands for Families Involved Together, is that through reaching multiple generations at the same time with the same information, we have a greater likelihood of breaking the cycle of poverty. Research shows that a child's literacy level is directly connected to his or her mother's education level. When parents have low literacy is typically found in the next generation. And only when the cycle of low literacy is broken can the cycle of poverty be changed. There is a need for family literacy and adult literacy programs in our community. Last year, council students represented 77 different countries and spoke 68 different languages. This demographic trend for Columbus has continued as the influx of immigrants and refugees to Central Ohio has continued over the last decade. Through this FIT program, the entire family is going to receive the benefits: adults, parents, grandparents, the children, siblings of different ages. They will all learn how to incorporate activities in their home that promote literacy. Additionally, they gain the literacy skills needed to strengthen their confidence and increase their abilities. Children are prepared with basic literacy skills prior to kindergarten, and additionally, they learn skills such as vocabulary, rhyming, word recognition, and phonetic awareness, all of which are needed for success in school. Throughout the program, parents are encouraged to teach their children through newly obtained skills to continue to establish the parental role as the literacy leader in the home and encourage lifelong learning in their students. This program has multiple partners. The council currently works with the Columbus Metropolitan Libraries, United Way of Central Ohio, Vocational Guidance Services, Amethyst, Columbus State Community College, Alvis House, Franklin County Job and Family Services, Bethel United Methodist Church, Covenant Baptist Church, La Cosecha Latina, and of course the City of Columbus, to see success with this program for the individuals in our community. In addition to those partnerships, we have additional corporate partners that continue to support the FIT program and other programs, corporate partners and foundations such as Ingram White Castle, the Seymour Family Foundation, Dollar General, Nationwide, Robert Weiler, Ernst & Young, Voorhees, Honda, Altrusa International of Central Ohio, and I could go on, because without the support of those companies, corporations, foundations, as well as the many, many, many tutors and volunteers that give their time to support, the Literacy Council would not be successful in offering the programs to our community. Should anyone have questions or need additional information, you can obtain information on our website, which is found at www.columbusliteracy.org, or you may contact me, Joy Reyes, directly at executivedirector@columbusliteracy.org, or call 614-224-0501. Thank you.
Thank you, Joy, for coming down and sharing the FIT program. Your grant is for $69,150. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Gloria McCauley from Bravo. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and I want to thank you for inviting us here. Bravo, for the last 19 years, has been providing services to the LGBT community in hopes of eliminating violence and dealing with issues of violence that affect the LGBTQI communities. We do a lot of victim service work, provide liaison between Columbus Police and crime victims. We do court advocacy. We do police training. We have trained every cadet class since 1991. And it has made a difference. Much of what we've been doing has been victim services. Over the last 10 years, we have documented over 100 incidents per year of hate crimes in the city of Columbus, and between 40 and 45 incidents of intimate partner violence or domestic violence. Often, these victims have no resources. Until very recently, there was no domestic violence shelter where a gay man or a transgender individual could receive help. Most of the safety programs in Central Ohio are focused on or accessible only to women and don't reflect the LGBT experience of violence. Bravo has worked to change that by doing trainings for other agencies, cultural competency, And again, we're seeing a large difference. This grant will help us focus a little more on violence prevention, particularly in our youth communities. 2 years ago, we did a prototype of a youth safety summit. And it was a week's worth of events so the youth could get to know each other, and it culminated in a 2-day summit. Some of those youth are still in contact talking about safety issues and anti-violence issues. It was a tremendous success. And with this money, we're able to replicate that event. We're also providing self-defense classes for the LGBTQI community. And it's a 5-week series, 2 hours per week, and very skills-based, but the attendees say it's really a lot of fun. And they don't care that they're actually learning something. We also do a short program, which we call Street Safety, to give the LGBTQI community basic information on keeping safe when they're out and about in the community, and resources if they're having violence issues at home. We partner with a lot of different people, and financially we've had support from Chase Bank, Kroger's, local businesses such as Mikey's Late Night Slice and Spinelli's Deli, Alternative Auto Care, and the Columbus Foundation and the Ohio Attorney General's Office. These partners allow us to continue our programming. We collaborate with local agencies such as the AIDS Resource Center, Columbus Public Health, Kaleidoscope Youth Center, Stonewall Columbus, Trans Ohio, and Columbus Police Department. All of Bravo's services are free. Reports and requests for assistance and information can be made anonymously, and everything we do is confidential. Bravo's pretty easy to contact. Our website contains all of the emails for our staff. We have a local phone number, which is 614-294-7867. We also have a toll-free number for folks who might be out of the area and need to call us, and that is 1-800-866-BRAVO. And again, I would like to thank you for this opportunity. It's really going to make a difference.
Excuse me. Leah, thank you for coming down. Oops, excuse me. And sharing. And I think this really is important for our entire community, like all the organizations here today. And I'm glad that you, of course, have shared your information so that the viewing and listening audience can contact you. And this grant is called, this program is called the Bravo Safety Outreach Program, and it's for $29,100. And thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Diana Moore for the Material Assistance. She's a Material Assistance Program Manager for the Salvation Army.
Hi, I'm actually Erica Schemberg.
Erica, thank you.
I gave you both our names, but Diana's here with me. Thank you to the Human Services Grant Committee for supporting the Salvation Army's Material Assistance Program. The Salvation Army started in Columbus, Ohio in 1885, providing basic needs. That's the core of what the Salvation Army does, along with many other programs. But this grant funds our Material Assistance Program. The Material Assistance Services Program is delivered through qualified caseworkers housed in 5 low-income communities where our community centers are. That is the South Side, Near East Side, Hilltop, Linden, and the North Side. Caseworkers meet with clients, and provide services, all that address basic needs. Each center has a choice food pantry. Through the food pantries, we strive to offer a wide variety of healthy food choices, along with personal hygiene items, baby food, and baby formula. We also provide utility bill assistance, rental assistance, clothing, furniture, warm winter coats, and back-to-school items for children. We have many local partners, including the Furniture Bank, the Mid-Ohio Food Bank, Hands on Central Ohio, Join, Lutheran Social Services, Columbia Gas, and AEP. Last year, through the Material Assistance Program, we served over 10,000 households through this program, and it continues to grow. The work of the Material Assistance Program is important because we serve as a safety net to families who cannot earn a livable wage. They do not have enough income to cover their basic living expenses, food, clothing, rent, transportation, and childcare. They often need to make choices between these expenses. Of the people who access our Material Assistance Program, 62% make $10,000 or less a year. 90% have a household income of $20,000 or less a year. The Material Assistance Program offers some economic relief to these households by providing basic needs, freeing up funds to be diverted to other necessities. We serve as a safety net for these families. Our program is unique because our community centers serve as a one-stop shop. For example, if a client comes to the Salvation Army for the pantry, in the same visit, they can sign up for winter coats for their children, make an appointment to receive furniture, and get a referral to another need that they may have. We also are unique because we can cross-reference between the various programs that the Salvation Army offers at the community centers. If a material assistance client comes in for the pantry but is also in need of employment, we can sign them up for our GED program or employment training program. Or if a client who received furniture has school-aged children who are struggling in school, we can refer them to one of our after-school learning centers. When we can't help, we can refer to many other partners. We make referrals to all different other agencies, including Join, Breathing Association, Hands on Central Ohio. Our financial partners, in addition to the City of Columbus, include United Way of Central Ohio, Nationwide Foundation, Central Ohio Primary Care Physicians Foundation, the Columbus Foundation, and many individual donors who give us financial donations as well as in-kind donations. For more information on our program, you can call Diana Moore. Her phone number is 614-358-2617, or you can visit our website at www.salvationarmycentralohio.org, or call our main number, which is 614-221-6561.
Thank you, Erica, for coming down and sharing. Of course, this grant is for Material Assistance Services. It's for $115,250. I will also say that I think it's important that you're in the communities that we are certainly focused on as a city, as we're looking at infant mortality and other needs in our community, especially even needs around in minority communities. This is Minority Health Month. Some of the issues are in those areas, that you're in those areas serving the community. And I think that we have to always be thinking about, as organizations, how we're linking together to be able to solve some of the larger problems within our community. So I appreciate your work and for coming down this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you for your support.
The next speaker is Paul Coleman, President of Maryhaven. Good afternoon, Paul.
Good afternoon, Council Member, and thank you for allowing us an opportunity to tell this committee and the public what we are doing with the money that you give us. Let me first tell you a little bit about Maryhaven. Maryhaven is Central Ohio's oldest and most comprehensive provider of behavioral health care with a specialization in addiction recovery services. We receive the majority of our public revenues from the Franklin County Adam Board, also from Franklin County Children's Services, the City of Columbus, and the United Ways of 4 counties in which we do business. We also enjoy a good partnership with the business and philanthropic community, including such partners as the American Electric Power Foundation, the Nationwide Foundation, the Grange Insurance Foundation, and the Columbus Foundation and the Ohio Osteopathic Heritage Foundation. We admitted about 9,000 patients last fiscal year, and we rank first out of all addiction recovery providers in the area in number of patient admissions. We rank 8th of all area hospitals in number of patient admissions overall, and we are in the top 5 of all nonprofits in our community in terms of lowest administrative cost. We have an audited 7.5% cost of administration. The programs that the city supports are 2. First is detoxification services. The benefits residents receive by providing subacute detoxification care to the patients is, of course, helping them restore their lives and helping their families heal. But to all residents, we always like to cite a study which was funded by the Columbus Foundation that finds that for every $1 invested in Mary Haven's adult services, our community gets a return of $11 in reduced criminal justice and health care costs. Our work is important because we are the only subacute care detoxification program in our community. There are acute care detoxification programs, but most patients do not need them, and subacute care is much less expensive. And finally, in terms of detox, we work closely with Netcare Access on our admissions process and very, very many other providers of health and human services upon discharge. Moving on to adolescent inpatient, which is the second program the city funds. This benefits residents by providing integrated behavioral health care to young men and women between the ages of 12 and 18, as well as allowing them to continue their education through providing educational services while the patient is actually with us. And of course, a very important part of our work in adolescent inpatient is to reunite that young patient with his or her family during the time that they are a patient at Mary Haven. Our work is important because we have a 62-year specialization in addiction recovery care, and thus we are the largest provider of inpatient recovery care for adolescents with a primary diagnosis of addictive illness, although I stress that very few of our adolescent patients are solely presenting with addictive illness. Most of them have mental wellness complications also. And finally, we work closely with Franklin County Children's Services in all phases from admission to aftercare, as well as other providers of care to young people in our community, such as the Buckeye Ranch and other providers of adolescent care, such as St. Vincent's. And finally, both of our programs can be accessed by calling the Mary Haven main number, which is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that number is 614-445-8131. We thank the city for its support. We particularly thank this committee and its chair for its support and understanding of our work. Be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Paul. Just appreciate the work that you do in our community. As you know that, as we know that the use of drugs and drug addiction just continues to, with all the great work people are doing, more and more individuals are using drugs. And so I do appreciate this work because it's so important, because we know what, if you don't get the services, we know what the outcome is going to be. Either you're either going to be a part of the criminal justice system, or you may not survive. if you're continuing to use those drugs. And so I'm appreciative of the work that you're doing, especially, well, both of the programs, but the adolescent residential program. We need to try to help many of our young people to try to move forward in their lives without having, being addicted to whatever substance they're addicted to. The question, I know that you're saying a lot of your referrals come from Buckeye Ranch, St. Vincent's, et cetera. But again, for the viewing and listening audience, if a family member has a need for these services for their children, they can contact you as opposed to going through those other organizations?
That's absolutely correct, Council Member, and I might add that the city funding for this unit is extremely helpful in those cases where a person who is a parent or guardian does not have a child who is a ward of FCCS's. This allows us to take that patient and, frankly, to provide an earlier intervention. So, yes, they can call us directly, and we get about 6 to 8 calls a week from the general public.
And the last question, I know the answer, but I think that the viewing and listening audience, the funds that we're going to give, and I'll mention those numbers in a few minutes, but I know the need is great in our community, and that we need more beds. We need more beds to respond to the needs in our community. Would that be a proper assessment?
Absolutely correct, Council Member, and as a matter of fact, we're undertaking right now a $2 million capacity expansion capital campaign to do just that. And as you also know, the city has been very generous in assisting us with that, as have some of our other business and philanthropic partners.
Well, thank you for coming down. And so the two programs that Mr. Coleman just mentioned is one, the adolescent residential program, and the funding for that is $271,068. And then the other is a subacute detoxification program for $221,280. Thank you for coming down and sharing this information with our viewing and listening audience.
Thank you, Council Member.
Thank you. Have a great day, Paul. Our next speaker would be Stu Atani, if I'm saying it correctly. If not, please share it when you come to the podium. And he's the managing attorney for the Legal Aid Society's Family Law Team.
Thank you and good afternoon. The Legal Aid Society of Columbus is a nonprofit organization that provides free civil legal services to low-income residents of Central Ohio. We have a dedicated group of attorneys, paralegals, and other staff members who are committed to providing citizens in this community access to justice and legal representation. We do not believe that legal representation should be limited to those who have resources and have means, but it should be available to all. We provide advice and counsel to help people address their civil legal needs, and we also provide individuals full service representation to address their legal matters. The whole goal, everybody's united in our organization believing that if we can address all the civil legal needs of individuals and their families, that we can help create healthy, stable families and safe households. We focus our efforts in several core areas of practice. We have substantive units broken up into attorneys broken up into substantive units that help individuals address public assistance issues, making sure that people maintain eligibility and receive access to necessary public assistance programs such as Medicaid, food stamps, and cash welfare assistance. We also have housing attorneys and paralegals that help people address eviction issues and housing conditions issues. Similarly, we have a consumer group that helps individuals with foreclosure matters, oppressive debt collection practices, including student loans, car loans, and hospital debt collection. We also have a limited tax practice that helps people address problems that they have incurred with their tax filings, particularly individuals who may have had excessive tax burdens because of impropriety from their spouse in the filing, also known as innocent spouse protection. And finally, we have a domestic and family law unit, of which I am coordinating our efforts. We focus on assisting individuals with divorce matters, custody matters, child support issues that are typically subsumed in those cases, and we also provide service for civil protection order proceedings. The city has graciously funded a project that we have called Supporting and Stabilizing Women in Transition. The goal of this project is to ensure that women who are leaving abusive relationships, primarily women who are taking care of families' children, have the necessary resources to transition and to develop a stable environment and household for themselves and their children, and to ensure that they receive necessary representation, particularly in the areas of domestic relations proceedings, to ensure that they have appropriate custody orders to take care of their children, and also critically important is child support for the care and maintenance of their children. We have several financial partners, in addition to the funding that we receive from the Legal Services Corporation, which is our federal funder. We also receive funding from the Adam H. Board, Victims of Crime Assistance administered by the Attorney General's Office, and we also receive funding from the Columbus Bar Foundation. We realize that in order to ensure the success of these families, that we have to partner with other organizations. And so we do partner very closely with Choices, the YWCA, Community Refugee and Immigration Services, the Hispanic Coalition, Somali Community Association, and others, in an effort to ensure that our clients have all the necessary resources to move forward. Individuals can access our program in a variety of different ways. Many call to complete applications for services, and they can call 241-2001. In addition, individuals can contact our intake department online by visiting columbuslegalaid.org to both gather additional information about their legal, legal rights, as well as to complete an online application for services. We thank you for your support, and we look forward to contributing to the community.
And thank you for the work that you have been doing and the work that you're doing on this program, which is supporting and stabilizing women in transition. And the legislative amount is for $50,000.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker will be, I think we have two, will be, hi. Ina McKinney, and the ECDI founder and CEO, and I see Douglas is in the room. Hi, Douglas, the ECDI Director of Corporate Marketing and Advancement. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Councilman Tyson, and thank you for having us at this forum. And I'm going to talk a little bit about ECDI, and then we'll talk about the two programs that are being funded by the City of Columbus. Founded in 2004, Economic and Community Development Institute is a 501c3 nonprofit economic development organization and is the third largest U.S. SBA, Small Business Administration, intermediary microlender in the country, and the U.S. Treasury designated community development financial institution. ECDI's mission is to invest in people to create measurable and enduring social and economic change. ECDI achieves this mission by addressing the needs of and supporting Ohio entrepreneurs, creating and expanding small businesses, and through job creation and job retention. ECDI offers a wide range of services and products, including small business loans, individual development accounts, financial literacy training, small business and industry-specific training, and one-on-one counseling and business incubation services, as well as our commercial kitchen and food truck and food cart commissary. ECDS target market includes underbanked and unbanked populations, including low-income and moderate-income individuals, minority and immigrant populations, women, those with little or no credit, and those unable to receive a loan from a traditional financial institution. Since 2004, ECDI has assisted over 5,000 entrepreneurs, loaned over $23 million to 1,200 businesses, and created and retained over 5,000 jobs. ECDI has additionally matched over $3.2 million in IDAs to over 2,500 individuals. This funding will assist ECDI's Women's Business Center, and now I'll speak more about our Women's Business Center. ECDI's Women's Business Center in Ohio is the only U.S. SBA-funded female-centered business center. The Women's Business Center mission is to empower women entrepreneurs with resources and tools to create strong and sustainable businesses. The Women's Business Center focus is service of providing education, mentorship, support, and funding to small businesses, which are startup or existing businesses specifically operated by women. With ECDI supplying the capital necessary for business growth, the Women's Business Center helps women establish solid business foundations, as well as expand market, increase sales, and ultimately achieve financial success, ensuring businesses operate at a peak performance. Our Individual Development Account Program is a match savings program which allows individuals who are employed to build assets and create sustainability for their households. Because building assets is critical to the mission, ECDI's Individual Development Accounts Program is intended to bring very low-income individuals out of poverty through financial literacy and match savings grants that result in economic self-sufficiency. We focus on 3 assets. One is first-time home ownership, second is post-secondary education, and third is small business startup or expansion. Individuals save anywhere between $500 to $1,000, which are matched with federal funds as well as the city funds. Women's Business Center of Central Ohio will work with the women who are unable to get resources anywhere else in the city. We'll provide previously unengaged women with education and support services to encourage entrepreneurship. The funding from City of Columbus will assist us in serving additional 125 women and their households, and will allow them to move into economic self-sufficiency. The IDA program funding will allow ECDI to serve additional 140 individuals and also assist 100 individuals with match savings accounts. Ohio is still among the 5 slowest growth states in women business ownership. As a direct result of these pitfalls, many Columbus-based women lack the confidence needed to achieve success in the business world. As I said earlier, this program supports female entrepreneurship and combats gender-specific barriers in the workplace. Some of the networks that we work with are small business development centers, obviously SBA. We work very closely with the City of Columbus Economic Development Department, Franklin County Economic Development Department, as well as federal government, Departments of Health and Human Service, U.S. Treasury. On a local level, we also work with a number of foundations, banks, and private individuals. To get more information on ECDI, we are located at 1655 Old Leonard Avenue. That is in Columbus, on the east side of Columbus. You can reach us through our number at 614-559-0115 or our email at ecdi.org. That's our website address. Thank you.
Thank you for coming down and sharing, and for women who are listening to this or viewing this, take advantage of the programs that ECDI has to offer. They offer really amazing programs. I've had the opportunity to go over and spend some time there, and it's just pretty phenomenal, and especially seeing those individuals who are entrepreneurs and just seeing their businesses grow and thrive and move within the community. So you're doing great work, and this grant, the first one is the IDA program, and the city is supporting that as for amount of $73,759. And then the Women's Business Center of Ohio, that grant is also for $73,760.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate your support. Thank you.
Appreciate what you're doing. Our next speaker is Nick Jones, representing the Boys and Girls Club. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chairwoman Tyson. My name is Nick Jones, and I'm the Director of Operations for Boys and Girls Clubs of Columbus. I'm here today to speak on behalf of the young people in our community who will benefit from human services funding provided by the City of Columbus to support our Growth for Great Futures initiative. The city's new competitive process allowed the Boys and Girls Clubs to access a new source of funding, which is now being leveraged to support our growth goal of serving 10,000 youth a year by 2020. This growth, both of our footprint and our impact, will put Columbus's Boys and Girls Clubs ahead of many of our peer cities and position us to grow into one of the best Boys and Girls Club organizations in the country. As an alum of the Boys and Girls Clubs and longtime staff member of the organization, I can attest to the impact that the club's evidence-based programs have on the young people who need us most. Our programs are not only building character in our kids, but they're stopping summer learning loss, preparing kids for college and a 21st century career, and ensuring that they have the skills and knowledge to make lifelong healthy decisions. Our growth over the past 5 years, from 2 clubs to now 7, would not be possible without investment from the city. As we look towards the end of this decade, the Boys and Girls Clubs is excited to continue this growth and settle into new service locations on the south side of Columbus, the Hilltop, and many other neighborhoods. On behalf of the board members, staff, and most importantly, the kids served by Boys and Girls Clubs, thank you for investing in the Boys and Girls Clubs. We look forward to our continued partnership in ensuring that every kid achieves a great future. Thank you.
Thank you for coming down, Mr. Jones. And this program, again, is for the Boys and Girls Club, the Great Future Initiative, and the amount of $69,150.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Joy Chivers. I don't see Joy. Joy. Okay. Marty's here. And Kim?
Yes, so, yes, Joy couldn't make it today, so Marty Siriaco and Kim Adams is here. She is our program manager for our food pantry, and I am the
You must speak to the other podium.
director of the food pantry. Sorry.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. We also want to thank you and the city for their ongoing support of Gladden Community House and the food pantry. Gladden Food Pantry is the primary emergency food assistance provider in the near west side of Columbus, operated by Gladden Community House. We have been funded in this efforts by the city for over 3 decades, and by United Way of Central Ohio for over a decade. We distribute over 10,000 pounds of food each week, supplied from Mid-Ohio Food Bank. We serve most folks that are at 200% or below the poverty level. I think what's important is our numbers have increased since 2008. We used to serve an average of 850 families a month, households. We are up to an average of 1,100 families per month. And these families are not families that are unemployed. These are families that are underemployed, used to have 2 full-time jobs. Now maybe they have 1 full-time, 1 part-time. Hours have been reduced, wages have been reduced. And many of our families, I would say 50% are repeat users, come to the pantry every single month, and there are many families that only use the pantry. In fact, they will say to us, I don't need anything this month. I want to leave that food for someone who really needs it. So I do think that our community definitely depends on having the food pantry there. We're open 9 to 3. We have only 3 paid staff, and we have many, many, many volunteers that make this process happen. Some of our partners we get the majority of our food from Mid-Ohio Food Bank. We pick up bread and baked goods from Kroger's on Henderson and Old Bethel 2 times a week. Mid-Ohio provides fresh produce for us 2 times a week, and if the week goes well, we have produce every single day. Columbus Foundation, we were able to secure a grant from them a few years ago for a cooler, which allows us to keep the produce fresher longer. And then this year we were able to secure a grant from Walmart to help with some pantry improvements as far as shelving, grocery carts, just making the space a little bit more accessible. We invite you to come down anytime. It is a very small space, so you'll see what I mean by it's tight, and we try to be as efficient as possible. But we couldn't do the work we do without our community partners and volunteers. As you know, we are a choice pantry. Folks come in, they shop for what we have available. I mentioned that we not only had funding from United Way and Central Ohio, but also Franklin County Senior Options. In addition, many fundraisers that we have and individual contributions. St. John's Church in Worthington provides food for us every single month, and many other kind of initiatives around the city will do food drives for us and bring food in, which really helps with the variety of food that we can offer to our families. Another community partner has been Mount Carmel's new outreach center. We have been, in fact, Kim was there this morning with a cooking class. So we trek over there for the cooking classes. We provide taste testing, nutritional information within the pantry, try to help folks to be able to stretch their dollars, make those meals, eat healthy, and try to use the pantry as a supplement possibly for their food stamps and other places that they are also receiving their food. We also have an on-site Ohio Benefit Banks employee from Mid-Ohio Food Bank. So our families don't have to go down necessarily downtown. They can meet with Mary Elizabeth and really receive a lot of benefits from her as far as information about their benefits. A couple years ago, we also partnered with the Breathing Association. They are in our main building, Gladden, on Monday and Tuesdays. Our families no longer have to travel to Henderson to receive winter crisis assistance, PIP, re-verification. They can have that happen right within our building. And so folks that come to the pantry are told about this service so they can reduce their utility assistance and in turn use that money either for rental assistance or however they need to fill that gap financially. So that has been a great asset to Gladden Community House, as well as we certainly refer folks to Join, to Compass, to Dress for Success, many partners. We also, Lower Lights Christian Health Center, we refer families to, Holy Family Soup Kitchen, Inner City Ministries. The other pantries in our area would be Mid-Ohio Food Bank, Lutheran Social Services, West Side Food Pantry. For more information about the pantry, they can either contact Kim Adams at 228-2498 or myself, Marty Siriaco, at Gladden at the main building, 227-1600. So thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for your funding.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much. I would just appreciate the work that you're doing in our community. And we know that food, material assistance, that's a basic need that we need to have met by everyone before they can continue to move on and be successful. So I appreciate your work. And their funding is for the Gladden Food Pantry, and it's for $92,200. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Our next speaker is Mr. Bo Chilton, who is the CEO of the Impact Community Action Center. Good evening. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for allowing me to be here. I want to thank City Council and the Health and Human Services Committee for support of our Employment Readiness Training Program. Impact's mission is to reduce poverty by providing hope-inspiring help and real opportunities for self-sufficiency. We serve over 20,000 customers a year, and we are the top referred agency from Hands-On Central Ohio. The Employment Plus program was created in September of 2008, and it is a Employment Plus program. So we provide not only the employment training, but also some wraparound services to make for a holistic approach. It's a 5-week training program to assist individuals through evidence-based instruction, computer literacy and financial literacy workshops, individualized case management, and job coaching with a 90-day follow-up once we've placed them. So we like to make sure that it's a good placement both for the employer and for the customer that we're placing. So we stay in touch with them through job coaching. While enrolled, participants receive a weekly stipend of $100 just meant to bridge financial gaps. Oftentimes we would hear people say, look, I don't need another program, I need a job. But sometimes in order to get that job and keep that job, there's some work that we need to do. And so we get to spend at least 5 weeks with all of our participants, making sure that they understand what it means to be on time, making sure that they understand professional etiquette, how to work in groups, how to resolve conflict. So we're working on those soft skills. And because we've been able to observe them over time, we can say to employers who traditionally might not have hired them otherwise, this is a person that we've observed over the last 5 weeks and they're ready. And so we build a reputation with employers, and so we're able to get people in the door that otherwise might not have gotten through that door. Our Workforce Employment Plus program also serves as a feeder from our reentry program. So our reentry program, we have people who go through that program who are formerly incarcerated and spend 3 weeks with us in the same manner, observing them Monday through Fridays, simulating the work environment from 8 to 3 every day, and then they roll into our Employment Plus program. So we've been very effective in finding employment for some of the most difficult populations to place. Many of the people at Impact have worked there since the inception of its program, and many of the people that we're placing are restored citizens. Impact's record of success is rooted in the holistic approach to addressing multiple and complex barriers facing low-income people. As a multi-service organization, Impact has the capacity to provide the wraparound services who are navigating through the 5 phases of work readiness training. So we can provide rental assistance, we can provide utility assistance, we can provide weatherization services, and so that becomes definitely a benefit to the people who are going through our program so that we can address other needs that they have while they're kind of either in this survival mode or crisis mode. We can alleviate those barriers immediately. Some of our program participants or some of our partners have been a number of organizations in this room that you've talked about, including Alvis House, Columbus State's Fast Path program. We partner with them. Central Ohio Workforce Investment Corporation, now known as Ohio Means Jobs, Franklin County. We also receive funding from Chase Bank, and we receive significant dollars from the federal government through the support of the Community Service Block Grant. The nice thing about the city dollars is that with our Community Service Block Grant, we can only serve people who are at 125% of the federal poverty level. With the city dollars, we are able to serve people who go beyond that 125%. And so again, we thank the city for their support and can answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Bo. I have just a couple quick questions. So individuals who are restored citizens, and you say they can be in your program in a 3-week program initially, correct? Now, are they compensated as the other group, or?
Yes, they are.
Okay, can you talk a little bit about that to me, please?
Yes, so we work with individuals who are either 90 days pre-release, so we go into the prisons and begin to build a relationship. So if they're 90 days pre-release, or if they have been out of prison for less than a year. So that's the population that we work with. Generally, those who have gone on beyond a year aren't as at risk as those who are fresh out. So we work with them, and we provide the 3-week training. We provide them with a $100 stipend, and for those who are ready, then they are referred on to our Employment Plus program. For those who are not quite ready, we continue to work with them through case management and with the goal of them rolling into our Employment Plus program so that they can be placed into a job.
And then in the Employment Plus program, which is a program that we're funding, then you will provide those wraparound services. Besides the skill sets that they need for their jobs, you provide the wraparound services to help them to move forward.
Absolutely.
And then after that, you're still spending about 90 days checking in on them, as well as still utilizing the wraparound services to
That's
support
right.
them.
Still utilizing the wraparound services, and we call them job coaches, so that we're staying in touch with both the person that we've placed, our program participant, as well as the employer, so that we can make sure it's a good fit. If it's not, then we want to do an intervention and make a different referral.
So another question, since I have you here, is about housing.
Yes.
How are you able to support these individuals with housing needs?
Yeah, that is an area that we want to look at for further exploration. Currently, we do provide rental assistance. So we work with some of our housing partners, including Homeport, Community Properties of Ohio, and a number of others to provide housing. And because we provide rental assistance, we've established relationships with various property managers. So we do have some sway in saying, hey, here's a person we need to get into an apartment right away. Can you help us out? And because we provide weatherization services also, we've been able to leverage some of those relationships. But even with that, the need is still greater than what we're able to provide. And so that's something that we want to explore with some of our partners in the future.
Well, thank you. Certainly, as you're exploring that with the partners, continue to talk to me about that, because I know that that is one of the greatest needs that I think, especially the population that you're serving, and many of the people in the room that are serving, that there's a housing need in this community to be able to support individuals, especially when you're talking about when they're getting relatively lower income, lower salary wages. And so any way we can continue to work together on that would be very, very helpful to this office. And so I thank you for the work that you do each and every day. And your grant is for... I just had it in front of me, then I started talking about it. Impact is for the Employment Plus Work Readiness Program. Oh, the question is, so if there's an individual who wants to get involved in your program, how will they do that?
Yes, they can contact us at 252-2799. They can also contact us through our website at www.impactca.org.
Thank you. And your grant is for $110,640.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Maggie Spangler from Columbus Early Learning Center. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chair Tyson. Thanks for the opportunity to speak with you today and for the opportunities that are created every day for our children because of the city's generous support of Columbus Early Learning Centers through Human Services funding and Early Start Columbus. At Columbus Early Learning Centers, we've been supporting young children and their families since 1887, and we do what it takes every day to deliver the best early childhood education and family support so every child succeeds in school and in life. And we've heard a lot this afternoon, and I'm sure you'll hear more, that too many of our families and our children are struggling with the challenges and the trauma of poverty and related issues, including housing instability, food insecurity, drug use, and violence that create toxic stress for our children, resulting in brain trauma which can last a lifetime. But we know that some children adapt and overcome, while others bear the scars that flatten their potential. And research tells us that the power of just one strong adult relationship is a key ingredient to resiliency and ultimately to success. Positive interactions between a young child and a primary caregiver provide the scaffold necessary to build key capacities, such as the ability to plan, to monitor, to regulate behavior, and adapt to change that enable children to respond to adversity and to thrive. Our Human Services funding allows us to provide developmentally supportive experiences to our children on the Near East Side who need it the most, and promote economic self-sufficiency for their families. Our step-up scholarships support families earning just a little bit too much to qualify for subsidized child care funding. We have families earning 126% to 150% of poverty who, even with the generous scholarships that we provide through other funding that we have from the United Way and other agencies, these families cannot afford even those scholarship levels. So our step-up scholarships funded through the city enabled us to assure access to affordable, high-quality childcare by allowing these families to pay between $50 and $75 a week so that they can take that step up in their own economic self-sufficiency. Our health and wellness initiative allows us to provide developmental and health screenings and education, enabling children and families to access the services they need to grow and thrive. Together with our partners, we create an environment in which children can adapt and overcome the challenges of poverty. We partner with the Columbus Speech and Hearing Center, the Early Childhood Resource Network through the YMCA, Nationwide Children's Hospital, Columbus Public Health, St. Vincent's Family Center, Local Matters, National Church Residences, and others to provide health and developmental services. We partner with Ballet Met, COSI, the Ohio Arts Council, the Ohio Children's Foundation, PNC Bank, and many others to bring our children the supplemental and enrichment programs and services that they need to thrive. Early care and education is a proven intervention that provides pathways out of poverty for 2 generations simultaneously. Together, we build resilient children. Children who have the spirit and the skills to overcome adversity, to mobilize their own strengths and the strengths of their community to realize their full human potential. And we certainly thank the City of Columbus for being an integral part of their lives. Anyone who's interested in learning more about Columbus Early Learning Centers can find us at columbusearlylearning.org or can call me at 614-253-5525.
Thank you, Maggie, for coming down and sharing the programs that the city dollars will be supporting. And again, it's the step-up scholarships for $28,582, and then the health and wellness program for $29,100. Thank you for what you do with our young people and their families each and every day.
And thank you for your support.
You're welcome. Our next speaker will be, hi, Mark Chividan from the Voice Corps. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much, Councilmember Tyson, administration staff, others here, and those that are joining us by television. I thank you for this opportunity on behalf of Voice Corps Reading Service to thank you for your past and present support of Voice Corps and its mission for the vision impaired, blind, and those unable to use standard printed materials due to some physical disability. Again, my name is Mark Chividan. I'm serving as Voice Corps' interim executive director. Voice Corps Reading Service was originally known as CORS, the Central Ohio Radio Reading Service. It's been on the air since 1975 when it was given a very generous grant by the City of Columbus and by the State of Ohio to begin broadcasting. We broadcast 24 hours every day. We produce some 12,000 hours of live programming with the help of nearly 250 volunteers. We read the Columbus Dispatch and community newspapers, magazines, other timely periodicals, books, printed materials that aren't easily or perhaps not at all available to the blind. We're the only service of its kind in Central Ohio. We serve Columbus and about 21 other counties in our coverage area for the radio station. Voice Corps consumers are vulnerable people who are less isolated, more informed, less dependent because they have audible access to printed information that the sighted community acquires so easily. We have, nearly 3,000 special radio receivers that we've provided free of charge to hear our closed-circuit radio broadcasts. We've also supplied receivers to all the major hospitals so they can carry Voice Corps on their cable TV systems. The cable companies carry us on Time Warner. I believe we're on Channel 9, for instance. And as the internet has grown, Voice Corps has expanded to stream its live signal, and we offer podcasts of the materials that we read. You know, while it's fashionable to believe that everyone is on Facebook these days, has computers, cruises the internet or the web for news and information, this is largely untrue for much of the vision impaired world. About 40% of our consumers live in households without internet or cable TV. Half the audience is older, primarily female persons with a vision impairment that's been brought on now recently in their lives by age, macular degeneration, diabetes, obesity. These people lack computer knowledge. They may not have the ability to purchase a computer or afford internet service, and they're unlikely to ever learn Braille. You know, news and information on regular radio and television channels is typically headlines. It's shallow, it's repeated over and over again, and no information source, quite frankly, beats the newspapers because they're very in-depth and have lots of material, full local, state, and community information. In fact, having been in the broadcast world for nearly most of my life anyway, a lot of the material that some radio and TV outlets use was originally sourced in the newspaper anyway. So anyway, so if you don't have a newspaper, for instance, how can you know when to put out your trash cans? You can't see your neighbors putting out their trash cans, so if someone doesn't tell you what the trash can color is today, you don't know. Well, we tell that every day. We give the CODA schedules, route information. We help consumers gain an equal footing with the rest of us. You know, those fancy computer text readers can't read those Myers ads and other grocery store ads that you get in those bags every week. They just don't do it. And, you know, blind and low vision folks, you know, buy things at the department store. They certainly want to know what the latest sales are that are going on, so that they can too take advantage of things that the rest of us may get to take advantage of. We feature health-oriented programs like the Diabetes Forecast, programs about healthy eating and how to eat right on limited budgets. And while commercial radio stations typically break in only for the most severe weather alerts, Voice Corps interrupts our programming for almost every NOAA message, so our audience is informed and stays safe. TV stations do that too, but they've got to crawl across the bottom of the screen, or maybe a little picture up in the upper left-hand corner, and blind folks just can't see it. So if they listen to our radio station, they can know when there's a tornado warning this time of year. So I could go on, but again, you know, we're very pleased to have the support from big organizations like Nationwide, Huntington. Many of the Lions clubs in our area support us. We also receive funding from the Broadcast Educational Media Commission of Ohio, Columbus Foundation, and many, many individual donors. And then through your support, the Columbus City Administration and the Council recognize that Voice Corps' contributions to the lives of our area's most vulnerable citizens is important. So on their behalf, I thank you. And I'd urge anyone who is or knows of someone who is even partially print disabled in some fashion to contact the Voice Corps office at 614-274-7650 or by email to services@voicecorps.org. Now, we're kind of spelled like Marine Corps. It's VOICECORPS.org. voicecorps.org, or at our website, www.voicecorps.org. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. But again, thank you so much for your support.
Thank you, Mark, and I certainly don't have any questions. I've been out to your organization many times and had the opportunity to read. I know the importance of, you just shared the importance of the work that you do each and every day. And so we're happy to be able to support the audio information broadcast of Voice Corps for $70,000.
Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Love.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Keisha Fallon from Life Care. And after Keisha, we're going to have just like a 5-minute break and then come back. The podium is yours. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Councilmember. Thank you for the opportunity to be here, for your support and the support of the Council. You may know Life Care Alliance as Central Ohio's Meals on Wheels provider, and we serve seniors and medically challenged through health and nutrition services. I think you also know us for the Columbus Cancer Clinic, which you've also agreed to help us fund this year. Project Open Hand Columbus, which helps people living with HIV and AIDS in Central Ohio. The wellness services we provide in over 20 wellness centers around the city, and homemakers and home health aides, which help people stay in their home as long as they can and be safe and secure. You've generously agreed to support Meals on Wheels for those under 60. As you know, under 60 years old, there are a number of individuals with severe medical challenges as well as premature aging issues, and they're living below the poverty level, and they're doing without the most basic need, which is food and a warm, nutritious meal every day. We're able to fund over 41,000 meals in the coming year with the support of the City of Columbus. This will not only help people stay in their homes where they want to be, this will save taxpayers $62,000 a year for everyone we can keep in their home, again, where they want to be. After enjoying our meals, our clients say the following. Over 90% report an improvement in overall health, a reduction in food insecurity, improvement in nutrition status, an improved outlook on life, and they report that their current outcome can be used to pay for other essential living expenses, their rent, their utilities, and transportation needs. In general, this funding will allow us to address disparities in access for Columbus residents, and it will help us get folks who are ill and can return to work back into the workforce and safe in their homes where they want to be. Would you like me to also say a few things about the Columbus Cancer Clinic? Thank you. You may know the Columbus Cancer Clinic is the oldest free cancer clinic in the United States, and we help people manage the illness. We don't cure the cancer. We help them and their families stay in their homes and fight the cancer so that they can, again, return to work and keep their homes. We help everything from transportation to medications to sometimes help with utilities and rent should they be in a position where they are in imminent potential imminent loss of their home or any of their utilities. We help Columbus residents, again, fight the illness and get back to their jobs through the cancer clinic as well. Do you have any questions, Council Member?
No, I don't have any questions, and I know I've had the opportunity to spend some time with you and delivering some meals, and just appreciate the work that you do and that Life Care Alliance does. And so this particular grant, we have two grants, and the first one's for Meals on Wheels for under 60 years old, and that amount is $285,055. And then the other grant is for the Columbus Cancer Clinic Home Care Support, and that's for $46,100. So thank you for the work that you do each and every day in our community.
Thank you for your support, Council Member.
Thank you. We're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we'll be right back and then continue to move through. Thank you. That Councilmember Shannon Harden, who has joined us today. And today is his birthday, so we are celebrating him and being another year on earth. And so happy birthday, Councilmember Harden. And so next up is Ellen Moss Williams, and she'll be sharing information regarding her program. And I reviewed your annual report this morning before I came into, well, this is your annual report, or maybe just your report that comes out, but just really amazed to see all the great programs that you're running out of your organization, and just really enjoyed reading it and reading about the individual that has come forward, moved through your employment program and her success, and then your women's program, and I was just reading it this morning as I had my breakfast.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councilmember Tyson.
Thank you for
and happy birthday.
Council.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, let's share your program.
Thank you. I wanted to come here today to really personally thank you, not only for the investment that the city is making in our program, Pathways to Work, but to thank you for all of the support that you give to organizations that are fighting the human services fight out there every day in the city of Columbus. The Godman Guild was established in 1898, and we are building stronger neighborhoods, one person, one family at a time. And we do that by offering education and employment programs that help adults and youth build their economic and social mobility. And I brought with me today Marcy Ryan, who is our Chief Program Officer, and I've asked for her to talk with you a little bit about our new Pathways to Work program that is being supported by the city.
Thank you, Ellen. I appreciate the opportunity for allowing God Miguel to present a new transitional jobs program titled Pathways to Work. This program is a cognitive behavioral intervention model that will use successful practices to transform the lives of the hard-to-employ, disengaged, and impoverished living in Columbus's urban core neighborhoods. Through positive and intensive relationship building, this multi-phase, long-term service delivery system breaks the cycle of destructive behavior by providing participants competencies in life skills and education, leading to sustainable and stable employment. Although a new program to Godman Guild, it is modeled after a successful program that I visited based in Boston, Massachusetts. Using evidence-based practices, the program will provide high-risk young adults in Columbus with stage-based, long-term services and support to help them overcome barriers in the workforce system. The program will help participants practice how to work by working and earning while learning. This includes the development of basic soft skills necessary for successfully retaining employment, including showing up on time, completing an entire workday, following directions, and effective workplace communications. This single service model offers intensive services and follow-up support for participants in obtaining and sustaining employment. The model effectively combines focused relationship building with targeted programming to support participants in developing the necessary life skills to create positive behavioral changes. Then they become an active contributor to creating opportunities for their future. The program consists of 3 phases. Phase 1 is relentless outreach and engagement, getting those people into the program. Phase 2 is a supervised work experience with intensive behavioral change focus. And Phase 3 is our permanent job placement and success supports. Pathways to Work is filling an unemployment gap as it targets diverse gender, age, and situational barriers. It is set up to benefit not only individuals and their families by increasing self-confidence and workforce skills, but benefiting the community as a whole. The program not only reduces the unemployment rate, but creates new taxpayers and eliminates tax users. Pathways to Work is a collaboration with Godman Guild and Community Properties of Ohio. We are also excited to receive referrals for this program from the Franklin County Child Support Enforcement Agency. Financial partners include United Way, Ohio Board of Regents, and the J.P. Morgan Chase Foundation. Other financial partners will include those companies and organizations that will provide work opportunities for our participants and pay for the services and work completed. We will provide on-site supervision of all work, eliminating the need for the company and employer to supervise workers, incur payroll costs, or any human resource services. Initial conversations have begun with Ohio State University, Nationwide Children's Hospital, and SK Food Group as potential employers. For additional information about this exciting new program, feel free to contact me, Marcy Ryan, at Godman Guild Association, 294-5476. And we thank you for your support and investment in this important work.
So if the viewing or listening audience wants to get involved in the program, what's the criteria to be a part of this program?
In terms of an employer or a participant?
Participant.
There is no, we are looking at people that are hard to employ or may have background or barriers to gaining employment. But other than that, they just have to want to work.
And can you talk a little bit about the success you're already having with this population?
We currently have a program called Economic Empowerment where we are employing or providing work readiness training and classes for, again, any adult person who has an interest in work. It is 5 days worth of classes teaching them things like interviewing skills, resume building, and at the end of that week we have a job fair. I'm excited to say that I think there's been 5 people that have gotten jobs as a result of the job fair at the end of their week of work readiness training. We just started that in January, so we're really excited about the results that we're getting already.
And but the training is only for 1 week?
For the economic empowerment class that we run currently, yes.
Okay.
That's not this particular program.
Right. This program is, they have to be at work with no issues for 60 days continuous. So if they have an incident where they might have a disagreement with a coworker, or they don't show up on time, or they're not dressed appropriately, they get sent home for that day, and we have a work crew ready, a person to replace that. So we always get the job done. But this is all about behavior modification and teaching them that work ethic and work skill that they need, so that once they complete 60 days uninterrupted work time, then we can go to employers and say, This is a person that knows how to work, how to be at a job, how to show up on time, how to dress for work. So endorsing and, helping fulfill the workforce with good candidates is the goal of the program.
Just one more question. So there are going to be 60 days in the program, and is it 60 days where you'll be giving them counseling on being a great employee?
Yes.
That's what the 60
It's
days
on the
is?
job training, so 4 days a week they will work for six hours or so a day. The program will also require 2 hours of professional development a week. And so that can be anything. It could be attending our adult education classes to further their education goal as well. It could be things that we offer, and it could be more soft skill instruction, or we might go to, if they're at a 45 to 50 day mark and they're ready to get out into the community, we might do mock interviewing. So it can be any type of professional development skill focused on work.
Okay, and so you have employers who are already have agreed to having these individuals come and work in their businesses for 5 hours a day, I think.
Right, 5 to 6 hours a day. We are in conversations with several. The hard part is it's a work crew of 6 to 8 people, so you have to get employers that are big enough that can handle that many at a time. But basically what we'll be doing is taking care of a job for the employer. So all they have to do is say, this is the job that you have to do, and they don't have to worry about it. We'll get it done.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We look forward to the success of this program and continue to get updates on this program, and because this is a significant grant that you're getting to be able to do this work, and we are looking to have to hear some great results from this program. It's called the Employment Plus Work Readiness Training Program. No, that's not. Excuse me. Yours is called the Pathways to Work, and it is for $426,704.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and we look forward to people's lives changing and moving forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Becky Westerfeld from Huckleberry House. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for having us. We're happy to be here, but mainly to say thank you to you for all of your advocacy on behalf of all of the human service providers here in Columbus. Your support supports our crisis shelter and our street outreach team, or what we call our youth outreach team. The thing that brings both of those two programs together is a foundation at Huckleberry House, which is we think children, even older children, need to be first and foremost safe, and secondly, taken care of. And that is the foundational value that really drives all of our programs, but certainly these two. Our crisis program is open to kids who are 12 through 17. We're open 24 hours a day, and when you come to our shelter, it's a little different than going to the adult shelter. Everything in the shelter, all the activities are really focused on what would it take to get you back with your family. And that is actually very successful, as you probably see from our annual report. Most of these children, whether they run away or are put out, they want to be with their families, and fundamentally their families want to be with them, but they've run into conflict that they just can't manage. There are times in which kids can't safely return to their families, and in that case, we work with the county. Our street outreach program is really about going to where kids are and helping them get connected with what they need. As you can imagine, since you're downtown quite a bit, kids will hang out lots of places. A lot of times people think that homeless youth are just in the camps or places like that. But in fact, if you come down to the bus stop down here downtown, here at Broad and High, you're going to see some kids hanging out. Sometimes we get called to go to a McDonald's parking lot. So we go where kids are hanging out. One of our favorite locations is actually Wrexham Park, centers, and our outreach team has a great relationship with the staff there. What we do is we go and we talk to kids to find out, what do you need? Why are you just hanging out? And is there anything I can do to help you? So our street outreach team really focuses on a wider range of issues than our shelter, including, and one of the two most asked for help is a place to stay and money. Now, in good fashion with young people, sometimes it's just, can I have some money? And so we have to work on the money comes from a job, and what do we need to do to get you from here to there? But our street outreach team will do whatever it takes within reason to get this young person from point A to point B. That means that we are connecting with all of the different organizations and programs in the city to make sure that we have an opportunity to get kids where they need to go, where they will succeed. I'm going to tell you two examples that one of them is a young person that I've actually gotten to know myself. He was in the adult shelter, 19 years old. The adult shelter called us because he was kind of getting lost. He was still very much acting like a teenager, but he didn't qualify as a young person. You know Project Blueprint, the city development project for utilities? This young person is graduating from their workforce development because our team has their ear to the ground, knew what was going on, and just pushed until he got in. And I keep getting these updates from the people that are working on that particular part of the project who tell me his attendance record, which has been perfect. Because when we work with young people, we do play a quasi-parental role. And that is when we said to this young person, we're going to do everything we can to get you in this program, because that will be a lifetime of jobs, not just a job. But you have to do your part, and we'll be checking. And so in that regard, we do look different from the adult system, but that's okay, that's appropriate. The other project is something that we've just begun talking with Hands On about, and that is, can we take their amazing website and turn it into a mobile app for street outreach workers, whether they're our workers or somebody else's workers. We're just in it for everyone. And the idea being that right there in real time with the where your phone tells you where you are, I just forgot what that's called. Yeah, they were calling it something else, but so that a street outreach worker could stand there and say, here's the closest food pantry to us right now that's open right now. And in that way, take all that amazing data and put it into the hands of workers right when they're out on the street. That's how the street outreach approaches everything, and that is, what can we do? What's maybe not coloring in the lines, but we're going to do what it takes. A lot of the shelter is supported by a wide range of folks, and that includes, as I have on the paper I gave to you, the Adam H. Board, Medicaid, federal money, we're a school lunch site. The street outreach team, it's you and a federal grant and the donations that we get from individuals. So your funding is important for both, but critical for the street outreach team. So any questions before I lose what's left of this voice?
Any questions, Councilman Harden?
Well, I just want to say to thank you for the work that you're doing. This population of at-risk youth needing someone in an organization like the Huckleberry House to step up and wrap their arms around them is very appreciated from the City Council, and I think that that's why we supported this. I really actually like your idea about the app, working with Hands On, and would be interested in follow-up around that.
We've actually met with two of their technical people, and we have a board member that works for a tech development company. So we've kind of begun that. Unfortunately, the idea is great, but there's a lot of technical things to think about. So it's been moved off to that. But once we get a good description of what will work with their current technology, then I'm sure we'll be talking to you. It's a one-time investment that could help a lot of agencies and workers that work with youth.
Certainly. The only question I was going to have, you mentioned different locations where you usually run into the population that you serve. How do they find out about you, or how is it word of mouth through other youth that are out there? How are they finding?
Right now, I would say that the majority of times that we're called by the adult homeless community, and then libraries and Wrexham Park. And they'll basically call and say, hey, we've got kids hanging out down here. But we also, every year, we choose our hot spots or the places that we're going to target ourselves. And we use a combination of data from the police department. We look at what's happening in the community centers in the various neighborhoods, and we try to choose places that maybe are a gap between some other organizations' focus. So we might not be at one of the neediest organizations, but in a area, but in a neighborhood around that. And I would say that pretty much we're pretty flexible, so we will switch that up if we get new information.
Thank you, Councilmember Harden. And so, Becky, your funding for the Crisis Services Program is for $54,277. And then the Youth Outreach Program is $122,689.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for what you do for our young people. And certainly we'll keep looking at this mobile app, because we funded the mobile app for the food pantry. That was a pilot program in Earnest, working with, as well, they worked a lot with the Lutheran Social Services, and we funded that program.
It is the direction that will, as an employer, I can tell you it'll cut our costs to not have our workers running around all over the place, so.
Well, as we get the information, let's figure out how to talk about that, because we also want to make sure that we are using technology to be able to meet the needs within our community, and to be able to certainly work with our constituents, in this case, some of our younger constituents, to get the services that they need. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Ryan Edwards. No, I'm sorry. Tanya, I'm sorry. From Tanya Fuwalder, from the Director of the Mental Health of America for Franklin County. I'm sorry. Thank you, Tanya.
That's okay. Thank you for this invitation and this opportunity. I'm Tanya Fullwider, the Program Director at Mental Health America of Franklin County. MHA provides a variety of programs that support our community, guiding people in need of mental health services to appropriate providers, as well as providing services that otherwise may not be accessible. I created and manage the POEM program, which is the program that has received this funding. POEM is Perinatal Outreach and Encouragement for Moms. It's a peer-based pregnancy and postpartum mental health program. It benefits pregnant and new mothers in our community by promoting mental health recovery and skill building through our phone support line, our mentor program, information and referral services, and support groups that are offered both in person and online. These services are a proven key factor in not just recovery, but maintaining wellness and even prevention. Beyond that, we connect women to appropriate specialized treatment or services and empower them to successfully meet their role demands as mothers. Perinatal mental health complications represent the #1 complication of pregnancy and childbirth, meaning statistically 4,000 women each year will be impacted in our community. The social and economic costs of these unresolved mental health disorders have a profound impact on women, families, and ultimately our city. These disorders increase risks for a multitude of adverse outcomes, including interrupted mother-infant bonding, less effective breastfeeding, even long-term problems in cognitive and behavioral development in children over their lifetime. As leading causes of infant mortality, preterm and low birth weight babies are associated with both high levels of anxiety and depressive symptoms in perinatal women. Our work is important because as the only comprehensive peer-based maternal mental health support program, not only in our city but in our state, our participants consistently show improvement in coping skills, more positive thinking patterns, accessing treatment, and reducing symptoms. In most families, mothers are the main source of nurturing, and all benefit from her dedication, her passion, and her ingenuity. Our program provides hope to women and families that they are not alone, not broken, and not to blame. We build on this by utilizing our partners for needed treatment options and services. These partners that provide other key services include Help Me Grow, the Newborn Home Visiting Program, Women, Infants, and Children, or WIC, the WIC Peer Breastfeeding Program, Healthy Start at Columbus Public Health. We affiliate with programs at all the local hospital systems, a variety of family, pediatric, and obstetric providers, as well as 39 local mental health providers. Our financial partners include the Franklin County Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Board, United Way of Central Ohio, and the Healthy Start program at Columbus Public Health. We've received support from the Columbus Foundation for our outreach activities and are also supported by donations, memberships, and 2 annual events each May with broad individual and organizational support. The POEM program helps give new families in our city a stronger start by supporting women dealing with the very common perinatal mental health complications. For more information, you can contact us at 614-221-1441, or you can visit our website at mhafc.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. And the city will be funding this program called POEM, Perinatal Outreach and Encouragement for Moms, for $32,270. Thanks for sharing all the other information at the end for people can contact you. I know I'll let the other 2 speakers get away without sharing their information, and everyone else will be doing that, I'm sure. So thank you, so they can contact you should they know of a mom that needs your services.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Mr. Ryan Edwards from United Way. Thank you. Good evening. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Councilmember Tyson. My name is Ryan Edwards. I'm the Senior Impact Director of the Home Impact Area and leader of the Neighborhood Partnership Center at United Way of Central Ohio. As you know, United Way of Central Ohio is committed to lifting folks out of poverty by investing in the interconnected issues of education, income, health, and home. Today, I'm presenting on behalf of the Neighborhood Partnership Grants Program, which is housed in our Neighborhood Partnership Center. Under that same umbrella is where you would find our Neighborhood Leadership Academy, our Neighborhood Training Academy, and then also a partnership that we have with the City of Columbus through the Neighborhood Best Practices Conference. Want to formally thank Columbus City Council, and specifically you, Councilmember Tyson, for your gracious support and confidence in the MPG program and the impact that it has in Columbus neighborhoods. I want to give a brief summary of what the MPG program is. The MPG program provides resources to support neighborhood organizations making improvements in low and moderate income areas of Columbus. Projects support capacity building at the neighborhood level, engage numerous stakeholder groups, and showcase local talent. The MPG program works to enhance neighborhood stabilization efforts by empowering residents and organizations to implement projects that will improve neighborhood conditions. Projects supported by the Neighborhood Partnership Grants Program are performed by grassroots resident organizations who are typically not eligible for funding under other traditional grant programs because of their size, legal structure, or the nature of their project. As a result, the MPG program offers a highly desirable and unique resource for civic associations, block watches, and other grassroots groups. Organizations and their projects are not required to be large or sophisticated to participate in the program. This gives many neighborhoods the opportunity to receive funds to provide improvements such as beautification, community engagement, safety, festivals and education, gardens, health education, and much more. In 2015, the program will grant approximately $210,000 to over 60 neighborhood-based projects. We had 120 applications, so there's a great need and desire for folks who are in our neighborhoods to take the good ideas they have to fruition. So we have some space, we have some good ideas out there that need additional funding, and the funding from the City of Columbus will certainly support that. Since 2007, we've granted over $3 million to hundreds of projects citywide. Our partners, besides the United Way of Central Ohio, are the Columbus Foundation, PNC Bank, Bob Evans, and now proudly the City of Columbus. It should be noted that the this started as a partnership with the Columbus Foundation way back when, and they continue to support us in terms of grant review. They do technical assistance and help us with that. So we want to make sure that they're well represented here as well. Interested parties may contact Jennifer King at the United Way of Central Ohio via her email address at jennifer.king@uwcentralohio.org or by telephone at 614-227-8715. For those who are viewing, applications open in November. We accept those through January, and we've just made selections in March. So for all of those out here who have good ideas for how they might want to positively impact the communities and neighborhoods in which they live, please contact us, United Way, and find out more. Want to thank Councilmember Tyson for giving the opportunity to share a little bit about the program today. We look forward to our continued partnership with the City of Columbus.
Thank you, Ryan, for coming down and sharing this. This is a program that, it has been around for a long time. When I used to work for, it's now PNC,
Right.
I was the liaison to the Columbus Foundation for PNC, and I remember when, I think it was Mary Jo Luck was there, and Jim Luck, and we started this program in PNC, which is, well, it wasn't PNC then, but PNC was very much engaged in that program then, and of course they're still engaged in it with the foundation. So it does make a difference in our communities, and it does give those community and civic leaders an opportunity to be able to improve their community with these grants. And so thank you for the work that you do each and every day to support our neighborhoods.
Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you. And this grant for our amount in this grant, the Neighborhood Partnership Grant, is $19,400. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is also from United Way, and it's Carrie Almasi, and she'll be coming up and talking about tax time. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to echo my colleague Ryan in thanking you, Councilmember Tyson, and the rest of the Columbus City Council for their continued support of United Way of Central Ohio. And as she mentioned, I'm here today to talk about the Tax Time Initiative. In fact, the council played a key role in the work that formed the coalition back in 2006. So they have continued to be a really strong partner since that time. Tax Time mission is to provide the Central Ohio community with free, high-quality tax assistance services and access to financial resources that enable low-income families to achieve financial stability. And my name is Carrie Almasi. I am the director of the Tax Time Initiative. And we are an umbrella organization that really encompasses 3 different tax preparation programs here in Central Ohio. And those are run by United Way of Central Ohio, the Ohio Association of Food Banks, and AARP. So together, we operate more than 60 free tax preparation sites here in Franklin County. Last year alone, we served over 16,000 local households and returned more than $17 million in refunds to the local community. For many families in our community, tax season is critically important because various tax credits can combine to form a refund that can account for up to 45% of their annual income. So Tax Time is committed to helping our clients save a portion of that tax refund and spend a portion of it wisely. We want to leverage that tax moment to provide access to financial resources and knowledge that will help our clients take the first steps towards financial stability. For instance, our Health and Human Services funding allows us to provide an important partnership with the Legal Aid Society of Columbus to provide legal assistance for tax issues to our clients. The program is supported by a diverse group of financial partners. In addition to the council, these partners range from county and federal government sources to corporate sponsors like Chase and other local banking institutions. Appointments for tax assistance are scheduled by calling Hands On Central Ohio by 211. Additionally, households that earn less than $60,000 in 2014 are eligible to file for free from home at any time using www.myfreetaxes.com. We are also a volunteer-driven initiative, so we are always looking for more support in that area. If you're interested in helping us to prepare taxes, you are always welcome to call me at 614-227-2799 or to contact us through www.taxtimecentralohio.org.
Thank you for the work that you're doing, and individuals who still need to have their taxes done can still contact you and
Certainly.
and get it done before next week.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Carrie. And the amount of money that we will be providing to the tax time program is $24,250.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Our next speaker is Angie Plummer, representing Chris. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Councilmember Tyson. A big thank you to City Council and especially to you, Councilmember Tyson, for assuring that some of the most vulnerable in our community's needs are met, and that being the immigrant and refugee community. Also, a thank you to your staff for their support as well in this process. So projections for this federal fiscal year are that Columbus will receive approximately 1,200 refugees directly resettled to our community by 3 resettlement agencies. Chris will resettle approximately 600 of these individuals who are refugees from Bhutan, Burma, Congo, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somalia, and Sudan. Support to assist these new arrivals comes through our 2 national agencies, Church World Service and Episcopal Migration Ministries, who are funded through the U.S. State Department. Of significance, however, is that Columbus is also a destination for many secondary migrants. These are people who were resettled in other cities and states, but who come to Columbus because it's a reputation as a welcoming community where people can succeed. And they come to join family or communities, but they leave behind any funding to serve them. It's through our city-funded program that we're able to help fill this gap. Of particular concern is the need to find safe and affordable housing. Our program assists clients to obtain furnishings through the Furniture Bank of Central Ohio, to enroll children in school, access health screening services at OSU Medical Center, assist with Social Security applications, and other public benefits to which they may be entitled. In the past year, we assisted approximately 150 secondary migrant families, 90 of which needed help with housing assistance. An additional aspect of our city program supports family reunification efforts for refugees who were forced to be separated from their loved ones. This program works with our traditional refugee populations, meaning the large Somali population, but there is a new program available to parents of minor children who are refugees in El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. So we're excited to start some new assistance to reunite these families. Our work is important to prevent homelessness and overcrowding that inevitably occurs when newcomers do not have the help they need to find appropriate housing. One of Chris's greatest strengths is the staff we have come from the communities that we serve, speak the languages, and have that cultural competence. So newcomers with limited English skills benefit greatly from direct services of our bilingual, bicultural staff, who can help them with their initial adjustment and integration into our community. Our experience tells us that one of the greatest stressors in the refugee and immigrant community is the worry they have about family they've left behind. So our reunification component helps to enable participants to utilize available legal options to reunite with family members. Finally, through our city-funded program, we're able to address the many requests for assistance we receive from hospital social workers, school personnel, and clients themselves that do not neatly fit under another funding stream. It enables us to say yes to the question, can you help? So we certainly don't do this work alone. We have a tremendous number of partners that assist in our many programs, but for the city-funded program in particular, I would consider Church World Service and Episcopal Migration Ministries our partners, the Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services and Rest Care, the Franklin County Office on Aging, the Ohio Attorney General's Office, and the Harry C. Moore's Foundation. I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to also point out that the community at large also supports our organization and that we have a 5K race on Saturday at Sharon Woods Metro Park. So it's a lot of fun to have refugees themselves there, members of the community, having an opportunity to mix and walk on that day. Chris is also based on the strength of the volunteers that come from the faith-based communities and other civic organizations, whether they be schools, Girl Scout troops, the gamut. In terms of community partners, the Furniture Bank of Central Ohio is essential for our services to the newcomers that are secondary migrants. We work closely with Legal Aid of Columbus, these faith-based and civic organizations who make lots of donations to help newcomers get started and donate their time, which is of critical importance. I had a woman say to me, the most important thing my sponsor ever gave me was her phone number. And so it's somebody to guide them as they journey and navigate a new city and a new life. We're also an Ohio Benefit Bank site, so that enables us to also help people apply directly for benefits without going to, while having somebody available to interpret. We partner with the Episcopal Service Corps and AmeriCorps Vista as well. So contact information to find out more about the program. I would encourage anyone to check our website at that's CRIS-ohio.org for a description of our programs. And our telephone number is 614-235-5747. And my email address is aplummer, so that's APLUMMER, at CRIS-ohio.org for any questions. And Councilmember, thank you so very much for your ongoing support of the human services needs in our community.
Well, I wanted to say, well, thank you for that. But again, thank you for the work that you're doing. And certainly your organization plays a pretty tremendous role in meeting the needs of the refugees that come into this community. And you and I have had an opportunity to talk and just really share your work. And that, I'm just always saying that we have to always make sure that we're connecting organizations. I mean, there are a lot of organizations, not a lot, there are a number of organizations that are certainly working with our New Americans, immigrant community, refugee community. However, each play a somewhat different role, and it's important to understand that and to make sure that we are supporting having a continuum of services to meet the needs of the community. So I thank you for your work, and I know that this particular grant is for $60,000 to services for our refugee and immigrant community, and I truly do appreciate what you do.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Ms. Roberta Bishop from the Southside Learning and Development Center. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Councilwoman Tyson. Excuse me, I'm just getting over a bad cold here. So thank you so much for this opportunity this afternoon to present more information on our program. The Southside Learning and Development Center is one of the oldest care and early learning programs in the city of Columbus. First opening our doors in 1924, the agency has a rich history of understanding the needs of families with young children. Having served over 18,000 children during our 91 years of service, Southside strives to keep pace with the changing and evolving needs of its community. We have held a focus on maintaining best practices for early care and education through a holistic approach that includes the family unit. We work closely with our families to determine their basic needs are always met through identification of and referral to existing resources. We continuously work to identify both new programs and funding sources that support early learning. A key focus of our mission is to maintain affordability and accessibility to early education for children 6 weeks through 5 years, from creating a foundation for learning to optimizing skills needed for success in school and in life. Through our quality program, children continue to meet program benchmarks for measured skill attainment at or above age-appropriate development, well above our success measure of 80%, reaching 98% for all children who attend 90 days or more. While Southside serves children from an average of 16 various zip codes throughout Franklin County, in our 2014 data of the 175 children served from both of our locations, 77% reside directly in 43207 or in our adjacent 43206. 22% of those total households have incomes that are less than $5,000 a year. Obviously, 48% have annual incomes that are lower than $20,000 a year, meaning 70% of all the families that we serve earn less than $20,000 a year. In 2015, U.S. poverty guidelines indicate that a family of 4, that poverty level would be $24,250. In addition, the immediate surrounding community known as the Southern Gateway has an infant mortality rate of 11.7 per every 1,000 live births, as compared to 8.6 in Franklin County. Recent statistics indicate that more than 3 babies die in our community every week. As we took a close look on how Southside Learning and Development Center might play a role in reducing those horrific statistics, the Successful Beginnings program, for which we're receiving funding, was born. These funds will permit young mothers and their infants determined to be at high risk of infant mortality to attend program daily. The mothers will shadow classroom teachers for a minimum of 2 hours per day for 3 days per week to learn how to best care for their infants and to foster health and growth of their child. The total family will be assessed to determine their full needs and develop a family action plan with both short and long-term goals. Community partners will assist us with identification of those most at risk for our program, with meeting the needs of the families through their existing sources, and helping these young mothers create individualized plans for their pathway towards prosperity. Our direct service partners for this project include the Wexner Medical Center's Moms to Be program, Columbus Public Health, YMCA of Central Ohio's Early Childhood Resource Network, Church and Community Development for All People, Action for Children, Early Care and Learning Incorporated, Caring Communities Birth to 3, and Columbus Kids. And now, as we prepare to move into our new facility at the Reeve Avenue Center, as one of the anchor tenants, we will have additional partners there to include in our supportive roles. Just to name a few, our nutrition support through meal preparation and fresh food market from not only the Church and Community Development for All People, but Mid-Ohio Food Bank is joining us there. Job research and GED programs through COWIC, now known as Ohio Means Jobs Family in Franklin County, Connect Ohio and Godman Guild, and where there might be older siblings even, the Boys and Girls Club will be there to help facilitate services. Additional financial support for this project will come from a portion of our United Way allocation for funding for meals through our Child and Adult Care Food Program, and for early Head Start funds where applicable. In addition to the Successful Beginnings specialized program, Southside Learning and Development Center provides support for preschool children and other infants and toddlers through several sources. We have the Early Start Columbus program, thanks to City Council and Mayor Coleman for making this initiative possible. We also have the publicly funded child care. Most folks know that as the Title 20. We have Head Start through partnership with the YMCA of Central Ohio. We have the Ohio Department of Education's Early Childhood Expansion. And we also offer private pay for families at a very greatly reduced share in the cost. And most recently, we've added our Early Head Start through partnership with The Ohio State University. All of these programs and our ability to maintain our quality benchmarks as nationally accredited by the National Association for the Education of Young Children and our 5-star quality Ohio Steps Up to Quality voluntary rating are made possible and supplemented by our funding from United Way of Central Ohio. For more information, anyone may call our main offices at 614-444-1529, and we will work to determine what programs we offer that they would qualify and best align with their needs. At Southside Learning and Development Center, we work hard to keep abreast of all of our resources that help to ensure that no child will go away unserved. And again, thank you so much for the opportunity to present to you today.
Thank you, Roberta. I just have one question. You just meant, just to kind of understand your program. So you're going to work with mothers whose children are already within your center, is that right?
That's, well, families who are being referred in, these are brand new slots that are created.
These
for
are
the
brand new
children.
slots?
Yes, ma'am.
And the mothers, you said, would be there
They'll be there at a minimum of 2 hours a day, 3 days per week.
2 hours a day, 3 days a week. So these mothers aren't working right now? Would they not be working, or would they be
As
coming
they're
later in the
identified
evening?
to
I'm
us
just
as
trying to
being at
understand
high
that.
risk for infant mortality, some may be working, as I understand it, but most will not be.
Okay, so most of them will not be working. And
Correct.
then you'll provide them with the program that we're talking about here, and then they'll be able to utilize those other resources so that they can, if they're able to, get the skills to be able to gain employment,
Correct.
as well as other wraparound services that they may need.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you, and look forward to the success of this program, and certainly it's so important that we make sure that young people have, these children are going to be able to live a long and very successful life through this program.
Absolutely. We thank you again for your funding.
Thank you. Thank you for the program of Successful Beginnings. Our next speaker is Mr. Rayshawn Wilson from the Columbus Urban League. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Councilmember Tyson. My name is Rayshawn Wilson, under the leadership of my Vice President, Ms. Toni Cunningham, and ultimately the CEO, Ms. Stephanie Hightower. I have the pleasure of serving as the Director of Supportive Services in our African American Male Initiative program. Since 2007, since the inception when Mayor Coleman and I just drew a brain. Kevin Boyce, State Representative Kevin Boyce, started the African American Male Initiative program. We've been able to do and accomplish great things in the African American Male Initiative program. Our programs and services benefit the Columbus residents by providing them with life-changing strategies designed to improve their quality of life. We do this by focusing in on specific areas which include the ex-offender reentry services, also teaching responsible fatherhood in our Father-to-Father program, our gang intervention program, and also our educational groups which address the need for drug and alcohol services, as well as workforce development barriers that we come across. We have some significant accomplishments since the inception of the AMI program, including recently celebrating our 1,000th man coming through the program. There was a huge graduation that took place at the Lincoln Theater. The mayor was recognized, and other key folks were recognized for starting the initiative. The work is important here in the Columbus area because we are able to effectively impact the complex social barriers that contribute to the disproportionate rates of incarceration and recidivism, juvenile delinquency, alcohol and substance abuse, inadequate parenting, low graduation rates, and also being able to connect these individuals through service providers to remove a lot of the collateral sanctions and other barriers that the restored citizens are faced with on a day-to-day basis. With the help of the City of Columbus, we have some additional funders who help pave the way for us, including United Way, the Adam H. Board, and the Commission on Fatherhood. Other partners that assist in providing supplemental services are Franklin County Child Support, Mary Haven, and Godman Guild with respect to our GED services. Anyone interested in learning more about the African American Male programs can simply contact any of our program coordinators at 614-257-6300. Our website is www.cul.com. And again, we appreciate your efforts in supporting us, and also Councilmember Harding for continuing to support our efforts.
Thank you. And could you just talk a little bit about the Choose to Change program and how someone can get involved in that?
Yes. Our Choose to Change program is a 10-week cognitive-based program where we focus a lot on thinking errors, criminal conduct, and substance abuse issues. As you know, the majority of offenders have committed their crime while they were under the influence of drugs or alcohol. And so we focus our research-based curriculum focusing a lot on the drug and alcohol piece and looking at thinking errors, trying to change the criminal behavior. And so while they're going through our 10-week program, we bring in a variety of different speakers and resources, such as Columbus State, to talk about college opportunities. We bring in entrepreneurship folks to talk about different ways that they can get involved in entrepreneurship. We bring in child support to talk about child support barriers and how individuals can get their license back. We serve as a liaison with respect to our Father-to-Father program with child support and helping individuals break down some of those barriers. And so after the 10-week curriculum is up, there's a huge graduation that takes place every 10 weeks with both Father-to-Father as well as our Choose to Change program. Those individuals come having been to My Brother's Closet, which is an initiative where individuals are suited in a suit and tie. Some of these individuals are suited for the very first time. And so they come very prepared after they're completed our program for job interviews. We link them with our workforce development program down at Columbus, at the Columbus Urban League as well.
And so if an individual wants to get involved in the Choose to Change, how would they do that?
Yes, they can contact one of our program coordinators at area code 614-257-6300. Any one of the program coordinators, one of them is Joey Green and the other one is going to be Derek Foster.
Okay. And then the Father-to-Father program, again, how would they get involved in that?
Same thing. They can contact that number, 257-6300. Any one of our program coordinators, Mr. Stefan Dunn or Mark Dotley, can be reached for that as well.
Okay. And there's any criteria for any of these programs?
Usually for our Choose to Change program, the criteria is for them to be a restored citizen that is pretty much interested in changing and looking for a better life. Our Father-to-Father program is open to anyone 18 age of older. And with the Father-to-Father program, they simply, of course, need to be a father and looking to build better relationships with their kids and also build better relationships with the kid's mom, and also be looking to get into connect them with employment as well. So it's pretty open in terms of the qualifications for those programs.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So for the Father-to-Father, for the Choose to Change program, it's being funded at $162,272, and the Father-to-Father program, we're looking at right now, I think there's some other things we're looking at, but around $115,000, just
Yes, ma'am.
depending on, I know we're still working on the reporting agreements and things of that nature, but so congratulations, and
Thank you
look
so
forward
much. We
to
appreciate
hearing
you.
about the success of these programs.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Greg Winslow from the Mid-Ohio Food Bank. Good afternoon.
Hello. Councilmember Tyson, thank you very much for the invitation to address you today, and thank you for partnering with Mid-Ohio Food Bank to provide services in the community. I really applaud your hard work. I know you went through a big process in reworking this grant process, and I think you did a great job. It worked out very well, and we appreciate this aspect of it as well. The social service grant that had been awarded supports Mid-Ohio Food Bank's produce markets in Columbus and is in a direct support of our mission to end hunger one nourishing meal at a time and co-create a sustainable community where everyone thrives. Mid-Ohio Food Bank's produce markets are emerging as a highly effective and efficient way to provide fresh fruits and vegetables to low-income residents in our community. It's where we're able to provide the right food, the right way, in the right locations to best serve our hungry neighbors. Produce markets are fresh food distribution events in that the one-year grant period, Mid-Ohio Food Bank will distribute more than 7 million pounds of food to 712 produce markets with 90 different Columbus locations and partners to serve 54,000 Columbus residents. That will be enough food to provide more than 16,000 meals every day. At a produce market, our host partner will promote the fresh food distribution event within their neighborhood, and anyone who meets the criteria of a household income of 200% of poverty or below is eligible to receive food assistance. The food distribution events are typically 2 to 3 hours long and will serve 200 to 250 families, which could be as much as 600 to 800 individuals. Mid-Ohio Food Bank delivers approximately 10,000 pounds of fresh food, up to 10 different varieties of food, where volunteers will help local residents take the items they want and know they can use. The produce markets help create a tremendous community spirit of coming together to help each other receive the food necessary for healthy and thriving families. In a survey of produce market visitors, Mid-Ohio Food Bank learned that 94% of the respondents increased their fruit and vegetable consumption by an average of 2.5 cups of fruits and vegetables each day. That's an increase of 2.5 cups of fruits and vegetables a day. That's actually more than the average American eats in a day, and this was the increase. It's truly an amazing response. We also learned that simply cost is the primary barrier to families eating fresh fruits and vegetables. They didn't tell us that they couldn't get to the grocery store. They didn't tell us that they didn't know how to prepare the foods. They told us they simply couldn't afford the healthiest foods. You know, you think about a very low-income family going to the grocery store, trying to feed the family, that they're going to choose cheaper and potentially less healthy foods just to fill their bellies. Produce markets provide healthy, fresh fruits and vegetables, bread, and dairy right in their own neighborhood on a consistent basis. I oftentimes like to think about children in our community developing habits around accessing fresh foods, storing foods, preparing them, and eating them. We can imagine the health, education, and productivity benefits of the future generations that develop strong habits of eating right. As I mentioned, Mid-Ohio Food Bank produce markets are conducted in partnership with 90 organizations in Columbus, many of whom we heard from today. Only through the organization, hard work, and community spirit of these organizations can the fresh foods be made available to our hungry neighbors. We're truly humbled and inspired by our partner agencies in the community that dedicate their efforts to improving the lives of those around them. There are also many financial partners that make produce markets possible. Mid-Ohio Food Bank will expend more than $1.7 million distributing fresh fruits to Columbus produce markets during the grant period. And produce markets are supported by corporate partners including Honda, Alliance Data, foundations including the Reinberger Foundation, and many other individual donors. We even have a campaign called the Get Fresh, Give Fresh campaign, where anyone can support and sponsor a specific produce market and engage their own network in fundraising to support the distribution of fresh foods at that specific produce market. On our website, you could find a map and a zip code list of all the produce markets. Our website is midohiofoodbank.org. You can also call our phone number at 614-274-7770 to learn more about produce markets and our other programs, or you could access the 211 line for other feeding programs in the community. I wanted to close by sharing a story of someone I met at a produce market. I met May at one of our produce markets, and I really noticed her strong reaction to the variety of foods that were made available there. And May went on to tell me that she wasn't able to afford a pear in over a year, and she just loved pears. And it was just something when she went into the store, she wanted to buy a pear, but she just knew based on her household income that she couldn't do that. And we were able to provide May with a bunch of pears that day and a variety of other fresh foods. And I think the thing that helped May the most was knowing that that produce market would be there consistently, that she could come back, that she could source those fruits and vegetables and other fresh items. And I think it really provides people hope, just knowing that those foods are there and available. So thank you again for the social service funding you made available through the city, so that May and 54,000 other Central Ohio residents will be able to take home free, fresh, healthy foods and to be able to focus on other important opportunities in their lives so they can thrive. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. And this certainly is important for me. Obviously, all the social services and human services are, but especially when you think about everyone needs to have their basic needs met. And food is a basic need. And certainly being able to have healthy food, and everyone should have, fruits and vegetables, obviously protein, dairy, every single day. And so I just think that having this food market, as you just mentioned, and people knowing that it's going to be there every single week, it will provide the community and our community residents with being able to have those balanced meals on a daily basis. The one question that I'll ask about the produce markets is, will they be, you said you're working with the neighborhood organizations, and so hopefully do you customize the foods to put what the community wants? Sometimes I know that's been a concern, that sometimes we send produce or food to a community that they don't know how to prepare, and even though maybe sometimes you teach them how to prepare, it's just not what they choose to eat. Right. So by working with these organizations, will you be able to customize the produce that will be going to those communities?
That's a great point. So since we've initiated this program almost 4 years ago, our operations team has gotten pretty good at that, and is very considerate about cultural considerations and dietary preferences in certain communities. And so yes, I know that we do as much as we can, in that we don't always control the product that we receive, but we do look at the inventory and product that we have, look at the geographic location and specifically the partner where it's going, and try to match those food items to the recipients as well as we can.
And you also said that those 90 partners, so they help with the advertising of the event that's going to happen in their community. Do you work closely with them on that, or how does that work?
We do. So we provide some training, flyers, those kind of things, and they do the promotion within the neighborhood, so they get that word out. We do certainly hear that word of mouth spreads quickly when these opportunities are made available, and they are consistent. So again, families know that they can go back on a consistent basis. But yes, the promotion is done locally, and we do help them with that effort.
Well, thank you, Greg, and look forward to getting the information. So please send to my office when you're having these produce markets so we can stop by, and then we certainly look forward to hearing the numbers as you continue to move forward with this. And so the Middle Ohio Food Bank will be receiving $184,400 to support their produce markets in our community.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Faith Williams and I guess Stephanie Reed from the YWCA. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Councilmember Tyson. I am Faith Williams. I'm the Vice President of Programs at YWCA Columbus, and I'm accompanied today by Stephanie Reed, who is our Director of Children's Programs as of about 3 weeks ago. So we wanted to have a chance to introduce her to you as well. On behalf of the people that we serve and the entire team at the YWCA, we want to thank you for your personal commitment and work on behalf of the programs at the YWCA Columbus, as well as the vast number of programs in our community that help to serve the most vulnerable in our community. We would like to share with you just a few words about the what the support from Council is doing for YWCA programming. As you know, YWCA Columbus is dedicated to eliminating racism and empowering women, and for over 128 years, we've provided programming that addresses critical needs in our community in the area of housing, childcare, women's leadership and training, and equality and racial justice. Today, I'd like to speak briefly about the youth programs at the YWCA Family Center, specifically the Safe and Sound Child Care program and the Kids Club After School program, both of which receive support from the City of Columbus. And these programs served 614 children during 2014. These programs are available exclusively to families who are admitted to the Family Center into shelter there. As background, the Family Center provides emergency shelter and critical services to stabilize homeless families in Central Ohio. Recognized as a national model, we are currently serving well above the 50 families per night for which the building was originally designed. And each year since 2009, we have seen an increase in the number of families served, and in fact have seen approximately 75% increase in the number of families served at the Family Center over the last 3 years. However, due to an efficient and well-trained staff and support from many community partners as well as the city, we are able to continue to rehouse most families within 24 days of the time that they enter the Family Center. These very large number of families entering the Family Center, of course, impact the children's programming at the Family Center. And on most days, we have more families who wish to enroll their children in our programming than we have the licensed capacity to support. And we maintain waiting lists for both of our programs. We know how important high-quality early education programs are for children experiencing homelessness. According to the National Center on Family Homelessness, children experiencing homelessness are sick 4 times more often than other children. They have 3 times the rate of emotional and behavioral problems compared to non-homeless children. They are twice as likely to have learning disabilities as non-homeless children, and they are 4 times more likely to show delayed development. So far, with the support of the City of Columbus this year, nearly 78% of the children who've participated in our Safe and Sound licensed child care program for at least 10 days have shown significant increase in their developmental skills. And 100% of the parents of our school-age children report that because of our programming, the parents are able to do the work that they need to do to regain stable housing. We also know that families who receive both housing and youth program services are 15% more likely to have a successful housing outcome than those who receive housing assistance alone. The support and partnerships that we have in the community allow us, of course, to be able to do this work. Our partners with our youth programming at the Family Center include Action for Children, Head Start, Gladden, and Communities in Schools, as well as the Mid-Ohio Food Bank, assisting with the food provided to the children in our programming. And significant funding support comes, of course, from publicly funded child care assistance, as well as from Honda of America. The good news, Councilmember Tyson, as you know, is that Columbus has many strong social services agencies, including the YWCA, that can demonstrate their strong impact on the community. And that impact is also very cost-effective. The estimates are that returns from early childhood programs range from $8 to $14 for every $1 spent. Again, we thank you so much for your interest and support, which is so critical to strengthening our clients, our children, and our community.
Thank you, Ms. Williams and Ms. Reed. Again, congratulations on your new role. Certainly appreciate all the work that the YWCA does for our community, and especially the work at the Family Center, working with our families who are experiencing homelessness. And appreciate the statistics that you gave us today, and that those statistics are why we support programs like yours to ensure that especially young people and their families have an opportunity to move forward, and their families knowing that their children are in a safe place as they're looking for jobs and trying to stabilize their lives. The amount of money that we're supporting this particular program with the Y is $73,760, and just really appreciate what you do and as an overall organization. And I also appreciate the outside the box thinking that Elfie and your team, the whole team, does to support to ensure that women don't have to even be involved, or families in homelessness. So thank you for your work, and thank you for caring for our children.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Mr. Michael Finelli from National Church Residences. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Councilperson, and thank you so much for the invitation to present testimony this afternoon. National Church Residences does a lot of good things in the community, from affordable housing to hospice care. The program I represent is the Centers for Senior Care, and we provide adult day services. Through our adult day programs, we offer an alternative to institutionalization and homebound they get isolated, and we prevent that through our programs. And it's for the frail, elderly, and disabled. Each year, the Centers for Senior Health serves over 900 senior clients who desire to age in place within the comfort of home and family. Our centers celebrate aging and the preservation of independence and dignity. The city's investment represented by this grant will support enhanced nursing services at the new Intergenerational Care Center and the soon-to-be renamed Poindexter Community Building at 240 North Champion Avenue. The Center for Intergenerational Excellence results from a unique community collaboration. In addition to National Church Residences, the partners in the collaboration include The Ohio State University, Columbus Early Learning Center, the Columbus Metropolitan Housing Authority, and PACT, Partners Achieving Community Transformation. The center will provide purposeful intergenerational programming and a focus on quality of life for 50 seniors and 56 children who will attend the center each day. The center will serve as a hub in the PACT neighborhood for health and wellness, caregiver support, education, and community outreach. Specifically, the Enhanced Nursing Program will offer the highest quality of nursing care for the at-risk seniors and children enrolled in the center's programs. The grant will make possible health programming for the surrounding community to include courses on caregiving, grief and loss counseling, early childhood intervention, and moms-to-be programs. The Intergenerational Care Center has proven to be a project that resonates with the philanthropic community. We have been fortunate to have received financial support for the center from, among others, the Columbus Foundation, the Ingram White Castle Foundation, the Ohio Capital Impact Corporation, Bob Evans Farms, Huntington Bank, the Harry C. Moores, Reinberger, and CareSource Foundations, funding from a HUD Neighborhood Choice Grant, and a significant investment by the Columbus Metropolitan Housing Authority in the building's mechanicals. We're extremely grateful to the city for its investment in growth across the lifespan, and for what this investment means to the revitalization of an historic Columbus neighborhood. And we thank you, Councilmember Tyson. Additional information regarding Adult Day program in general and the intergenerational program more specifically is available at National Church Residences website at www.nationalchurchresidences.org or by calling our administrative offices at 236-0586.
Thank you, Mr. Finelli, for coming down, and this really is going to be a pretty phenomenal facility. And to think about, Pondexter Village Intergenerational Care Center and enhanced nursing. So you have the children and the seniors there together providing the services for both of them. And this is certainly part of a major component of the revitalization of certainly the Near East Side, and just appreciate the work of the National Church Residencies, because you guys do great work in this community, and glad that you're the partner moving this forward, and just look forward to those seniors feeling great about themselves again, not being isolated, and being able to help mentor those young people and the young people that will be at the center. So thank you for your work, and this particular grant is for $101,420.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And our final speaker for this evening in terms of funding is Ms. Renee Williams, representing St. Stephen's Community House. Good evening.
Good evening, Councilmember Tyson. Thank you for the opportunity to come and talk about the great place we call St. Stephen's Community House. On behalf of our President and CEO, Michelle Mills, and the Board of Directors and our families, we just want to extend our heartfelt appreciation for this proposal. I'm going to read my remarks in that I could talk about St. Stephen's all day long, and you've been here, so I want to keep it short and sweet and to my instructions that I was given. St. Stephen's Community House as a hub for advancing self-sufficiency. The Community Emergency Services Department is to resolve emergency and short-term crisis, enabling individuals and families to stay intact and stable through the provision of services and resources, as well as linkages to community resources. St. Stephen's Community and Emergency Services philosophy is to provide services to meet the basic needs of those that we serve with the utmost respect and dignity, and in a timely manner. This award is multifaceted in that it also supports our Ohio Health Food and Nutrition Center. I was excited to see Mid-Ohio Food Bank here, as they're one of our cherished partners. The Ohio Health Food and Nutrition Center is a choice pantry designed to ease hunger for those in need, as well as giving an option for households to choose the food that they are receiving, which also helps us to abate waste. We operate our center 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and this also includes the seasonal produce market as well, which we're extremely excited about, and we operate that twice a month. Our Food and Nutrition Center sees on average around 900 families a month, and it's growing, it ebbs and flows with seasonality and events. Another facet of this award is our Material Assistance Program. This component assists in stabilizing families through emergency situations. What we do, we provide linkages and utility programs, as well as housing assistance through FEMA, linking with the Government-Assisted Benefit Bank, and linkages to create community resources. And in 2014, we served approximately 165 families through this program. Additionally, we have the opportunity to collaborate with the Central Ohio Labor Council, and this program helps us provide families with food for the holidays, in particular Christmas. And last year, we served almost 3,500 families with food for the holidays, which we're really extremely proud about. This program is really important because in the Linden community, there are very few social supports and community resources to meet the most basic needs of our families. The majority of the food pantries in the area are run by churches, and they're only operated 1 to 2 days a month. So we bridge that gap. We also, with our assistance through our utility program, we're able to complement the other agencies that have that assistance. The organizations that we partner with are Join, Impact, again, Mid-Ohio Food Bank are one of the major ones. And in closing, again, to extend appreciation, I just wanted to leave you with a thought that myself as being a former Linden resident, born and raised in Linden, and as a youth participated in this very program, the after-school programs and the emergency assistance program, receiving benefits from St. Stephen's. So when you think about who you're funding, please think about me, because this support helped me grow and develop and become the person that I am. So I appreciate you and your gift.
Ms. Williams, I just want to say I appreciate you. I think that this is certainly, you are the epitome of the individuals that we are talking about throughout this whole hearing this afternoon. It's about helping everyone to be able to reach their full potential and to be able to utilize the different social service agencies to help individuals to do that. And what better person to be able to be up speaking up on behalf of St. Stephen's, but someone who had the opportunity to be in their children's program, in their young adult programs and children's programs, and to be a recipient of their services, and then to be able to be hired by the organization to be able to do the work, and to be a shining example for those individuals who walk through that door, who sometimes think that, is this ever going to change for me? Am I ever going to be able to reach my full potential? And they can just look to you and know that absolutely they can, because if they see that you've been able to continue to move forward and do great things, they can do that also. So you are the type of person that I love to be able to come and to hear speak, because I just believe that everyone is born for greatness, and that sometimes circumstances prevent them initially, but there's certainly each and every one of us needs to have support from individuals to move forward and programs to move forward. So I thank you for your testimony here today. I appreciate the work that you're doing in the Linden community, because there are not a lot of resources that are there in terms of organizations, and certainly being one of the neighborhoods who want to focus on infant mortality and a lot of other needs within our community in terms of workforce. And there's a lot of needs that we have in some of these communities. You heard about that today. And so just appreciate the work that you're doing there. And certainly this particular grant is for the Community Emergency Services, and it is for $154,645. So thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Look forward to us continuing working together and hearing about those great successes of St. Stephen's.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Well, so in this particular, the funding that we've been talking about today, in terms of social services, the dollars have come from, one, the bed tax dollars, as well as some dollars from our general fund. Overall, the amount of money that will be provided to social service agencies will be, agencies through this process will end up being around $5 million, and then there'll be some additional social service agencies that will have an opportunity to be able to be that will be funded through other dollars throughout the city of Columbus. I want to recognize someone that's in the room. It's Linda Bloomer, who works for the James, and she was here today. She's taking a class, and she's over patient care resource manager, but she's in school at Ohio State, and wanted to really come by and listen, be here for this hearing, and be able to hear about some of the human service programs that we support in our community, and thinking about how they can also be linkages and resources to the Ohio State University and the work that she does to be able to understand all the resources that we provide within our community to help their patients to continue as they leave the hospital or in the hospital, to provide resources to those, to their patients. So I'm so glad that she's in the audience today and gaining a lot more information about the services that the city has to offer. And so with that, I am going to bring our hearing to a close. Again, I want to thank Hannah Jones, and I want to thank, I think Keisha. I thought Keisha Jenkins was in the audience also today. Just want to thank the Department of Development for all the work that they did to get us to this point. And just want to say that the City of Columbus cares deeply about our residents. I want to make sure that each resident of our city gets the services they need to be able to move forward in their lives. But also during this hearing, I hope everyone has heard that how with these dollars, we are leveraging partners because everyone spoke about their partners. We're leveraging funding so that they're also these organizations are getting funding from a number of resources. Also, all of them talked about volunteers and the use of volunteers. There's no way that they could do the work that they do each and every day without volunteers. And so we're all working together to help to improve the lives of our residents. And so for each of those agencies, I want to thank them for the work that they do in our communities. They were all worthy of the great commendations and to get funded. I'm grateful for their service and admire their compassion, their tenacity, and their dedication to their work. I also want to thank the people that work on my team, and I mentioned Hannah, who worked on this program already, but I want to thank Nicole, who was here, Nicole Harper. I also want to thank James Lewis for the work that they do each and every day. I also want to thank CTV for the professionals who work so hard to prepare for these broadcasts and make sure that our residents are getting information, that the work that we do here is transparent. I want to thank my council members, especially Councilmember Harden, who was here today for the hearing, but my council members and their staff for the work that they do to serve our residents. And lastly, thank our residents of this community. We could not be here without you, and our goal is to every day make this the best place to live, work, pray, and raise a family. And so with that, I want to say thank you, and this hearing is adjourned. Have a great afternoon.